Satanism and the occult this morning and some of the dangers that are lurking about. And with me in the studio is the Dark Lord Blood, who is a 7th-generation satanic worshiper. I mean, are all your friends Satanists?
No, I don't have any friends, but my acquaintances are, yeah.
Uh-huh.
For the purposes of this study, we will focus on the number 666 and its use in the Universal Product Code.
Most people don't realize that 80% of all toys on the market have occultic influence, and these are the most popular.
It says here that it actually makes the wings move, so let me look at that. Isn't that amazing?
And do you remember those verses in the book of Revelation about the flying beast with the riders on them?
This could actually be taken from Revelations.
Sure, it looks like it.
I dealt with a boy, to abbreviate it, who wanted to kill me. The name of the demon that was inside the young man was named Azrael. I later found out that Azrael was Lucifer's personal death angel. Not only that, but I also found out that that was the same name as the cat on the Smurfs. And what is his primary objective? Is to catch little Smurfs and kill them for Gargamel.
And this kind of knife is being sold for that reason. There's something called an
But
emptium.
it's also being sold for healthy reasons.
Man, what's healthy about selling a knife that's
Vicky.
Snake Mountain. It's got an interesting little feature here. I'm going to turn it on. It can actually transform your voice from your regular voice to that of an occultic hero. Is that correct? So let's get a Skeletor type of voice. Let me turn this on here. I think I'm getting it too loud. Skeletor, the master of the universe.
Woo! Good evening, my friends. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is all recovered from yesterday. We had a long day yesterday. But so much fun, man. I want to first of all, thank everyone who hung in there. I mean, I want to thank everybody who showed up even for like a minute. But I want to thank everybody who hung in there the whole time, man. That is just badass, dude. I really appreciate you sticking around and hanging in there with me. But you know, more importantly, I want to thank all of my guests for joining. That was amazing. Everybody who showed up was yeah. There were a couple of people that I really wanted to reach out to, but there was just so many people and I just didn't think of it in time either. You know, but I really wish I had invited Defense or Justice Serve TV. Because I would have really loved to hear from Linda and Michael and hung out with them a little bit yesterday. That would have been awesome. There was a lot of people that I would have liked to have joined, but I mean, even 12 hours, there's only so many people you could squeeze in. for that, and we had a pretty full day. It was amazing, and I had a great time with everyone. I feel as though I was a little I was taken back by David Yannetti. I was taken back by Bob, even. And like that was I I've hung out with these guys like almost like close to half a dozen times, and like I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess it's just because of the verdict and everything, and and I and I also kind of just at some point kind of gave up on the idea of having them on, because when I reached out to them first, it was right after the verdict, and I hadn't heard back from them until like just a few days ago. Um and so that was like and it's because they're busy. Obviously, I'm not being like, oh my god, these guys, they didn't even bother after that's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is I just didn't have a lot of expectations because I imagine that they're very, very busy gentlemen. So I did not, so I maybe I just kind of subconsciously felt uh, like I was still taking away from what they should probably rather be doing. Maybe, and that's why I don't know. But I'm an anxious person anyway, so that had a lot to do with it. But it was great. It was great seeing them again, talking to them again, and I hope it's not the last time. And but all the other guests were also just as fantastic, honestly. It was literally just as much of a pleasure to have every single one of those guests that showed up, as much as it was to have the Cerebral Ninja and then Bob Alessi. And I truly, truly mean that. Just everybody coming together for the same purpose because they're passionate about the same things. It was just really cool, and I was just grateful that I got to be a part of that. So, but most importantly, I want to thank all of you who collectively amongst you all raised over $21,000. Because it still counts. If there's still donations going in there and it's saying Glare Stream, we're talking about people who are catching replays. It counts. So we're still raising money for Aiden here. You know what I mean? And we the final tally was somewhere around 20,500 something last night, and then today it was it's at 21,400 something. So that's just what, yeah, look at that. And Wallflower, thank you so much for everything you did yesterday. I really appreciate you. Wallflower hung in there from beginning to end and kept tally of every single penny. So that was really, really cool. And I never organize these things. Some just God ends up handing me somebody who will do that for me, every time. So and I'm always grateful that happens. So it's really cool, man. And yeah, so thank you guys, all of you guys. That was, I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at. $21,500, folks. And yes. Oh man, Cherry's gonna be mad that I didn't tell her that I was live. Yeah. So, and she is the newest member of the mod team. So we're really happy to have her on. Thank you, Wallflower. Appreciate it. And yeah, so Friday the Wilbur. I will be there. Everything's all set. And we've got I I had this idea and I called Jimmy about it this morning, and we were fucking belly laughing over it. I just hope it works. But we were belly laughing over it because we're fucking stupid and petty, and it was really funny to the both of us. It was really funny to the both of us. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun at the Wilbur. I promise you guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So I hope you all got your tickets. There's like 100 tickets left. So yeah, there's like 100 tickets left, man. So buy your tickets. Let's sell this fucker out. We got till Friday. We got 4 days. Sell this fucker out. Let's do this. No, Cosgrove is not Jimmy. No, Cosgrove is not Jimmy. MC Cossie G is not Jimmy. Oh, yeah, Mary, give that to somebody else. Yeah, give that to somebody else. For sure. Give that to somebody who wants to go and can't afford it or whatever. Absolutely. But yeah, man. So we're just gonna get right into it, man. We're gonna talk about fake victim. So obviously Aiden is suing fake victim Lindsay Gattani, and she decided to file a countersuit today. So we're gonna go over that. And I realize also that, and I want to thank Suzanne for emailing me the PDF for both of these actually. And I'm going to go over Aiden's lawsuit first. I don't think I did that before. I just knew he was suing her, but I don't think I actually read it. But so we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna read her countersuit, because this is I mean, the thing is like, it's so weird because what's happening to Aiden is terrible. Like, it's one of the worst things that could happen to somebody, right? You know, like, it's a nightmare. But the strange thing about it is it's also fucking hilarious. Not that it's happening to him. That's not what I mean. I mean, the insanity behind it is just so absurd. And all of the people and their behavior is so fucking absurd. Everyone hates this guy so fucking much on that side that you're like, why do you hate him so much? Like, I mean, I get that he may not be for everyone. I get that. Like, and if I'm being completely honest, dude, I like part of the appeal of Aiden to me is that he fucking bothers people as much as he does. That shit I find funny. I love that. I think it's hilarious. Part of my appeal to Aiden is that he just fucking manages to get under people's skin as easily as he does by just doing his shit. It's just really funny to me. I can't help it. So I find it really funny, and it's just one person after the other who just seems to, like, again, man, it's the whole Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote thing. And like, these people are just Wile E. Coyote, just always just setting up these big elaborate contraptions to fuck this guy up, and then they just end up fucking it ends up backfiring every time. It's really funny. So let's go over this real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and read this. Let's see. Plaintiff's complaint with demand jury trial parties, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Aidan Carney versus Lindsay Gattani, Worcester. The plaintiff, Aidan Carney, is a resident of Holden, Worcester County, Massachusetts. The defendant, Lindsay Gattani, your defendant, is a resident of Medfield County of Norfolk, Massachusetts. Facts common to all counts. The plaintiff restates and reveres paragraphs 1 and 2 as expressly rewritten. On multiple dates and occasions beginning in 2024, the defendant Gattani has made defamatory statements about the plaintiff. And yes, she has. On multiple dates and occasions beginning in 2024, the defendant Gattani has written and published to her social media accounts and to other sources in media defamatory statements about the plaintiff. The following paragraphs are separate and distinct examples of defamatory statements and writings made by the defendant. On or about June 29th, 2024, the defendant described the plaintiff as the abusive, lying rapist himself on a social media account. On June 29th, 2024, the defendant wrote, "Do not ever tag that rapist on my page ever again," referring to the plaintiff. On July 5th, 2024, the defendant wrote and posted, "Carney is a rapist," is in all caps. And then on July 17th, 2024, the defendant referred to the plaintiff as the abuser and rapist. On August 14th, 2024, the defendant posted on her social media account, "Carney abuses drugs. All the help in the world won't cure his severe mental illness and personality disorder, and he will still be a rapist." Says, I love that. A personality disorder. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. This person is accusing anyone else of having a personality disorder. I mean, if that isn't the glassest house ever, a personality disorder. Like we listen to this person act like, or at least try to act like a perfect little angel while testifying in court. But we also heard recordings of this person completely and totally displaying this personality disorder. And then we heard recordings of her displaying this personality disorder with somebody else by sitting in his car, not getting out. And then that person just happened to be in jail at the same time as Aidan being in jail because she colluded with certain officials of the Norfolk County local government there, and had him locked up, had his bail revoked from charges that are totally bogus. On August 24th, the defendant posted to a social media account, "Let me make something very clear. Aidan Carney is very much a rapist." See, every time, this is the thing, is she just keeps calling him a rapist when she tried to charge him with rape. Because as I understand the story to go, she was drunk. He was drunk. She recorded them having sex and did not tell him that she was recording it. And in the recording, it clearly shows Aiden and her in very consensual sex, engaged in very consensual sex. And the police have determined this, that it was consensual, and would not charge him with rape. So, because the thing is, if her argument was that she was too drunk, but the thing is it wasn't like she was incapacitated. You know, like, do I get, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to get, like, I love getting real personal with you guys. Guys, want to hear the story of when I lost my virginity? This is fun. No, you guys don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that story. I'm sure you don't. So I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19 years old. Okay. And I wanted so bad to get laid. I mean, just like any teenage boy, you know, wanted to get laid so bad. I mean, from the time that I was 13 years old, it's like all I thought about. And then I was engaged with I was engaged in behaviors and hanging out with people who did some pretty destructive drugs, self-destructive drugs. And this was a time where I remember shortly after this was one of the last times that I hung out with these people, because I was like really kind of I hated myself. I remember we were basically smoking crack. And I would hang out with these people, and I hated how it made me feel. And I had this really, and this is actually really very true. But I'll tell you about that afterwards. But I was still hanging out with him, but very shortly after this, I mean, not long at all, shortly. It might have even been the same week, where I had a moment of clarity and was like, I need to just go home. I need to go and try to fix things with my family. This is fucking terrible. And I remember my stepfather was dying of cancer. He was terminal. He had throat cancer, and it was a real hard thing to see him go through that. And my mom took me back in the house under the condition that I would help him, you know, and I was like, of course, you know, I mean, he's my stepdad, you know, and take care of him and try to make things comfortable for him, be alert, you know, if anything happens, be there to call 911, call her, you know, do what I had to do. And, you know, and make sure he drinks his shake in the morning, because he couldn't eat any solid foods, and, you know, so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into the gory details of what one goes through when they are dying of throat cancer. It's not pretty, and it's not fun. So prior to that, just prior to that, I had turned 19. It was my 19th birthday. And I think me turning 19 and not having any contact with any real loved ones probably affected me too a little bit. You know, no happy birthdays from my mom or whatever, even though I'm not really a birthday guy. I never really was, except since when I was a little kid. And so I was hanging out with these people. This is, again, like I said, just before my moment of clarity, and then going back home. And I was hanging out. Sorry, I'm still remembering, because this is not something I think about a lot, by the way. So I'm still remembering. And I remember I told somebody it was my birthday, and they were like, well, we got a party. And they didn't give a shit about my birthday. They just wanted to have an excuse to party and use this person's apartment to throw a party, and, you know, just shitty people. And I remember they throw this party. There's lots of beer, but there's lots of liquor too. And there was tequila. And again, I was only 19, so I think this might have been the first time I actually drank tequila, or at least a lot of it. And I mean a lot of it. And it was the most bizarre situation because there was a bunch of people hanging out at this party, and I didn't know any of these people. I knew like 2 or 3 of them. And they were doing whatever they were doing, you know, and I was just like, okay. And this couple shows up, and it's a dude who's probably about the height of Mark Betterow. Sorry, Mark, but about the height of Mark Betterow, and his girlfriend, not wife, but girlfriend, but mother of his child, is this woman named Sherry. And she was quite robust, to say the least. Not narrow, if you know what I mean. So, but it was really weird because the more tequila that I drank, the smaller her waist got and the bigger her boobs got. Like, I just remember seeing this person the next day and then remembering that and thinking about that, you know, like, I was like, what was I thinking? But anyway, so we're there hanging out, whatever. And it was the weirdest thing because no woman had ever, and this was a grown woman. She must have been in her late 20s. And she kept on, you know, looking at me and very seductively. And I wasn't used to that. I'd never had a woman look at me like that. You know, like when I was 19, I was very, very awkward. And I had the lowest of self-esteems that was in existence. I had not grown into my face yet. I just didn't care about my appearance at all. I had a mohawk, but with long dreads coming down. So I had like a sideshow bob / mohawk thing going on. And I guess she liked it. But I was not at all, you know, vain in any way, shape, or form. There is one picture, but I have to like really look for it. But and I'm not going to do that right now. But it was really weird because the dude that she was with was very weird. He was a weird guy. Like, when he sat on the couch, he was a short guy, long hair into his face. And when he talked, he made these hand movements and they were like this, and he talked like this. I'll never forget this guy. And he was so dependent on her. Like, he called for her for everything. He was like, Sherry, can you get me another beer? Sherry. I'll never fucking forget that shit. Weird guy, super weird. And I remember just not understanding really what the fuck was going on. I was just so drunk. And then she like cornered me at one point and was like, I want to take you home with me. And then I was like, I think that means she wants to fuck. Okay. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, I'm 19 years old. How have I not gotten laid all this time? I've never had sex, and I'm 19. I just turned 19. This is ridiculous. All my friends have had sex. This is bullshit. I don't care how fat this girl is. I'm a fucker. So I went home with her, and it was actually fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was fun. She was great. She was really nice. She was really sweet. She was a really sweet person. And for my first time, I gotta say, I wore her out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, I wore her the fuck out. But that's neither here nor there. But come like 6 a.m., right? The sun's coming up, and I wake up to banging on the window, right? Just banging on the window. Now, we were in Miami Lakes, okay? We were in Miami Lakes, and then she drove us to her house in North Miami. It's about a 20-minute drive, right? She drove me to her house, and I remember she drove like a blue Camaro. I remember this. And I wake up, I hear this banging, and I'm also hearing, Sherry, open the door, Sherry, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And then she wakes up, oh shit, get dressed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't even really put it together. I wasn't even paying attention at the party. And, you know, I just figured it was cool. I didn't think about it. I don't know what domestic things are like. You know, I didn't put it together. And she just like left this guy at the party, just fucking left his ass there. She lived with the guy and left him there. Right. And this guy, no, he was so weird, he couldn't get a ride home. Nobody would give this guy a ride home. Right. So he ended up walking, like, it took him hours to walk all the way from Miami Lakes to North Miami. So it's safe to say this guy was fucking angry, bro. He was mad. So I'm picking up my I'm picking up my clothes. You know, I'm fucking freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because at this point, my memory hadn't gotten back yet. I didn't know who the fuck this was. I didn't understand what was happening. It was all happening so fast. I was coming off of my first tequila fucking hangover. Not coming off the hangover. I was like dead in my fucking tequila hangover. And is it really scary there now? No way. It was a nice neighborhood when I lived there. But whatever. So I freaked out, right? I was like, oh my God, I don't understand what is going on. Who the fuck is that? And she's like, just grab your stuff and then whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then the guy comes in the house, like he got in the house. I guess he broke a window and opened the door. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. I'm gonna kill you, man. And I was like, I don't know what that. Yeah, but I'm holding my clothes. And what's really funny is like the guy only came up to here on me, but I was scared shitless of the guy because I didn't know it was like a fucking spider monkey. I didn't know what to fucking do with this guy. I was freaking out. I didn't even know what was happening. And I'm going, all right, man, whatever, dude. I grabbed whatever the fuck I got. I thought I grabbed my socks. I didn't grab my socks. I grabbed her bra instead. I'm sitting on railroad tracks trying to put on my clothes. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's before cell phones. So this is like, I mean, I was 19, so that was 94. It was 1994. So nobody had cell phones except lawyers and drug dealers. That's it. So the guy's sitting there and he's, you know, well, before I even get out there, he's just like, just get out of here, man. Just get out of here. And then I was like, all right. So I left. I'm sitting on the railroad tracks. I'm putting on, you know, whatever. I find out that I didn't grab my socks. I grabbed her bra. I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I put on my shoes without my socks. And she comes screaming around to the railroad tracks in her Camaro and goes, get in, get in, get in. So I jumped in and then she drove me home, right? That's not even the weirdest part, right? She drove me home. She was like, I'm sorry about that. I was like, what the fuck is going on? She was just like, we're not together, but you know, I left him at the party. I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. We were just so fucked up and blah, blah, blah. So I was just like, whatever. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep. Then I go back to the apartment that we were at, that I was hanging out in. And I was just like, I need the couch. I need the couch. And they were like, yeah, you're good, man. Go get some sleep. They were like, you had fun, huh? And I was like, shut up, you know, sitting here having a bunch of crackheads telling you, fucking making fun of you for losing your virginity to a fat girl. That's not okay, bro. That's not, you know what I mean? I didn't want to hear it. I'm just, dude. And then, phone rings. I'm laying on the couch. It's a few hours later. I'm passed the fuck out. Phone rings. Somebody picks it up and they're like, hey, that's for you. And this dude's smiling at me. His name's Rich. This guy's name was Rich, and he was a piece of shit too. And he hands me the phone, and I was like, hello. And then it was that dude, right? It was the spider monkey, right? I don't remember his name, but it was the spider monkey. And he's like, hey man, I just wanted to say, like, I'm real sorry about what happened. And I just want to tell you, man, like, Sherry, she really likes you, dude, you know? And I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, yeah, you know, it was just a one night thing, man. Like, I was super drunk. It was my birthday, you know, my first time. And then I went, oh, fuck. And then he was like, is your first time, dude? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but you know, but we're not together or anything, you know, we just have a kid, and, you know, and I just get a little crazy sometimes because she made me walk home and shit, you know? So, you know, just, she really likes you. I just wanted to call and tell you that. God knows what kind of conversation they had before that phone call took place. I don't want to know. I don't give a fuck. You know, like, I never saw these people again. Never, ever. Oh, that's not true. Oh, no, I did. No. Yeah, no, that's the last time I saw them. Yeah, because I actually met them once before. At a Ronnie James Dio show at the Button South in Miami. We went to that prior, and then they just happened to be there, and somebody introduced me to them. That's the only reason I remember that, because it was a Dio show. It was the only time I ever got to see Dio live, and it was in a club, which was really cool. So, oh, Vivian, oh my God.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad.
How dare you?
Vivian, thank you so much. Will, I hope this helps. Love you, Cherry, and chat. Love all of you. Thank you. That's so sweet. So yeah, so that was it, as far as that goes. But I was so drunk, and I know I would not have gone home with this person. I would have held out. I would have been like, this is not going to be my first time. Fuck that shit. You know, But I was so drunk, I know that I would not have done this. Now, just because I feel like I left you hanging with other parts of the story, like I remember it was just a couple of days later, and I hadn't hung out with Scott for a long time. Now, Scott is one of my dearest friends, and he's the one who ended up getting murdered years later and thrown off that boat. And he shows up, and we had hung out. We were hanging out in that apartment, and I was just glad to be hanging out with him again because I didn't like these people, but they let me dwell there because I didn't have any place to go. But they let me dwell there. And in order to dwell there, it made sense to adapt to whatever they were doing. So, you know, I did all the drugs they were doing and just went with the flow with everything that was going on in that house. And so, this took place again where everybody's smoking fucking crack and Scott's there, and it's the first time Scott's there, and I was fucking like jonesing, right? Like it was all gone and I was jonesing, and there was 3 or 4 grown people, men and women, crawling around on the carpet picking up anything that may resemble something that they can smoke. And I'd seen this many times before. But Scott was there this time. This is another great memory that I had of Scott. And I can't believe I never even told the story before, but this is another great memory that I had of Scott. Because Scott was sitting there. He was more of a drinker. And he was like looking at me because I was just sitting there like, you know, and he's like, "What's up, dude?" You know, and he's smiling. He's like, "Fiending?" You know, and I was like, "Yeah," you know, and he's like, "Well, here." And he had like a bottle of like fire water, aguardiente, as it's known in Spanish. And he's like, "Here," you know, and I just sat next to him, and I'll never forget this. We just sat there passing the bottle back and forth, sitting on this couch and staring at grown people digging in the carpet, trying to find anything that may resemble a crack rock, like as if a crackhead who's that desperate is going to drop one. I mean, that's the level of delusion of that kind of addiction. It's really bad. And so he's like, you know, just here, man, you know. And we just sat there smiling and talking, you know, and remembering in old times like when we were like on the streets together a couple years earlier than that. And like that was when I decided, I was like, I'm never doing this shit again, like ever doing this shit again. And then and that's when after that, like I was like, all right, I need to go home. I need to see, like, I need to beg my mom to let me back in the house, and I need to let figure out. And then that's when I went back to school. That's when I got my GED and all of that sort of thing. But and I even did like a couple of semesters of junior college, but it wasn't for me. So I quit. But I moved on to get my own apartment with 2 other really good friends of mine that I went to high school with, and it was awesome. Like it was like the worst time of my life that just turned into the best time, one of the best times of my life. So it was really great. But the thing was is here, let me pin that. The thing was is, do I get to charge Sherry with rape? That's the point of me telling the story, by the way. Do I get to charge Sherry with rape? I would never have slept with her. Is it me? Is it on me to have drank as much as I did? Because I mean, and is it a men and women thing? You know? Like, is it a man and woman thing? I don't understand. Is there a double standard? I'm asking a question. I'm not making a statement. I'm just thinking out loud here. Because do I get to blame this person, even though she was of age to drink and I wasn't? Let's think about that for a second. Here I am. I'm under the legal age of drinking. And I've never even thought about this until right now. I was not of the legal age to drink. She was. So, no. I completely disagree with you. Because also at the same time, I was over the age of 18. First of all, I was 19 years old. That is an age, once you hit 18, then you are responsible for your own actions. By law, in the eyes of the law, you are responsible for your own actions. So I made it. I decided to drink. I wanted to drink. Nobody said, hey, man, come on, dude. Here, drink this. Nobody drugged my drink. You know what I'm saying? I made the decision under the influence of alcohol, a decision that I would not have made had I not been under the influence of alcohol. Do I get to charge this woman with rape because I was intoxicated and even blacked out to some degree until my memory came back to me later on that afternoon and the next couple of days? Because I honestly didn't even remember how I got there. When I got woken up, I didn't know where I was, what had happened. I had no idea. Later on, my memory came back to me. But I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So, do I get to charge Sherry with rape? Do I get to accuse her of being a rapist because I made a decision because I decided to drink too much? So anyway, on October 15th, 2024, the defendant wrote on her social media account, "It's creepy that the rapist can't stop talking about me." In October 2024, the defendant posted to a social media account based on the lies of the rapist himself, who is a felon, when referring to the plaintiff. On or about November 12th, 2024, the defendant wrote about the plaintiff. He did commit rape. Only thing worse than a rapist is a lying rapist. Jesus. On or about November 15th, 2024, the defendant described the plaintiff in writing as the cult leader / abuser / racist / liar / manipulator / narcissist, everybody's favorite word, / sociopath. The defendant posted to her social media account, "The rapist lied." The defendant described the plaintiff as a rapist cult leader, which she posted on her social media account. The defendant wrote and posted on her social media account, "Carney is very much a rapist." And the defendant posted to a social media account a manufactured photograph of the plaintiff apparently restrained in prison with a person holding a knife to his neck, implying that the plaintiff is a criminal. So I guess she made a meme showing him being restrained in prison with a person with a knife holding. Wow, that's dark, bro. But he's the one with the personality disorder. Okay. The defendant on multiple diverse dates beginning in 2024 to the present has made false and defamatory statements that Carney committed a crime. The defendant on multiple diverse dates beginning in 2024 to the present has made false and defamatory statements in writing to third parties that Carney committed a crime. The defendant on multiple diverse dates beginning in 2024 to the present has made false and defamatory statements that Carney suffers from disease or illness. The defendant on multiple diverse dates beginning in 2024 to the present has made false and defamatory statements in writing to third parties that Carney suffers from disease or illness. All the defamatory and false statements made by the defendant were made with actual malice. All of the defamatory and false statements in writing and published by the defendant were made with actual malice. All of the defamatory statements made by the defendant were made falsely or with reckless disregard for their truthfulness. All of the defamatory statements, writing, and published by the defendant were made falsely with reckless disregard for their truthfulness. Count 1, Carney versus Catani, slander. The plaintiff restates and reveres paragraphs 1 through 14 as if expressly rewritten. The defamatory and false statements of the defendant as described herein were slanderous. The defamatory and false statements to the defendant as described herein constitute slander per se. The defamatory and false statements to the defendant as described herein were made with actual malice. Okay, now do I need to keep going through all of this? Because I don't want to. Yeah, this is just all showing, what it caused. Did it cause emotional distress? Blah, 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 blah. This is all the legal jargon as regards to this goes. We already know what she did. So no need to go through all of that stuff. Now, since this was filed, as of today, Lindsay Gattani, fake victim, has filed a countersuit, which one would think, well, that's unexpected. I say the opposite. I think that it's absolutely expected. I would have been surprised did she not try to do this. I would be shocked. So she files this counterclaim, and I can't wait to read it. Aidan Carney versus Lindsay Gattani, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Defendant's answer and counterclaim. The defendant counterclaim plaintiff Lindsay Gattani, pursuant to blah 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 blah, and 20 hereby answers the complaint of plaintiff Aidan Carney and asserts counterclaims against Carney and additional counter defendants, Medfield Police Detective Dylan Haldeman, Massachusetts State Police Lieutenant Brian Tully, Norfolk District Attorney's Office Special Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, specially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, and Jason Broyles. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jason Broyles is, Jason Broyles goes by the name of Not That Haley. And for a long time, went under a fake account, and it was a girl. Like he posed as a, I don't want to, I guess it's probably the equivalent to digital cross-dressing. Sorry, Jason. It's a little weird, but he did this. I'd say it's about the equivalent to cyber cross-dressing. But anyway, so apparently he's been going at her pretty hard on the internet, webs, and he was deep cover. Exactly, Janine. He was deep cover. So he called it a social experiment to see what kind of views his post could get as a girl. Okay, man. All right. All right. So he's quite active on Twitter. He's been on quite a few shows, channels. He's paneled a lot. He was recently on one where they interviewed Aidan during his whore tour. He was on that panel as well. And I like Jason. I'm not trying to, I like Jason. Just, Just saying. Cyber cross-dressing. It's all it is. I mean, am I wrong? Anyway, all the allegations in the complaint not expressly admitted are denied. Gattani asserts affirmative defenses and counterclaims, including claims for contribution under blah, 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 as set forth below. By written agreement of the parties, this answer is due close of business on September 5th, 2025. Plaintiff's request for injunctive relief in the complaint seeking to silence Gattani's speech about her victimization constitutes an unconstitutional prior restraint in violation of the First Amendment and to the U.S. Constitution and Article blah, 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 blah. Answer to complaint. 1, admitted. 2, denied. Defendant resides in Norfolk County with a, oh my God, this is a 91-page document, folks. We're going to be here a minute. Defendant resides in Norfolk County with a P.O. box mailing address. The defendant restates her responses to paragraphs 1 and 2, denied the statements referenced in the complaint were not defamatory. So she's denying that the statements are not defamatory. She's saying that they're not. And to the extent that they assert facts, they are true or substantially true based on the defendant's personal knowledge and experiences. To the extent they express opinions, they are protected under the First Amendment. That's interesting. Because I don't think that no. You can't just go around calling people a rapist and call it freedom of speech. Now, technically, it's not criminal, so you can't charge her with a crime, but what you can certainly do is sue them if these statements are not true. And if these statements defame you, if these statements make people not like you and they are untrue. So this is something that you cannot do. And TURTLEBOY cannot afford for his reputation to be tarnished. Now, if he does, and it's of his own doing, then that is what it is. If his reputation becomes fucked because he ends up raping somebody, okay, well, then it is what it is. The victim cannot sue. You cannot sue the victim for calling you a rapist if you fucking raped her. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You deserve to have every fucking, you deserve to have your name completely and totally buried under the ground, and you deserve to be buried under the fucking jail for that. But the problem with all that is that he never raped anybody. That's the big problem here. So something like that, where, yes, you would go to prison for this, and yes, your entire life would be fucked. But it's not true. It didn't happen. Well, then, if you're going around trying to make people think that it did happen, well, then that person can sue you because you're taking money out of his pocket. And not just that, it's not even about money necessarily. I mean, I could just be a fucking guy working at McDonald's. And if the manager is going around telling people that I'm a rapist amongst my coworkers and makes it difficult for me to do my job, and I can't work, I can't show up to work. Or if I'm going to a church and I'm part of a church congregation, and a member of that congregation is going around spreading a false rumor that I'm a rapist, that's not costing me money, but it's costing me my camaraderie. It's costing me my reputation. Like, people who I like and respect, whose respect I have earned, now are side-eyeing me and wondering, I wonder, is this guy a rapist? I don't know, blah, 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 blah. That shouldn't have to happen. I shouldn't have to go to church and get side-eyed, right? So, right, public image. I mean, and that's the thing is, in Aiden's case, it is his bread and butter. His image is his bread and butter. And he's also the kind of guy that's like, if my image is going to get fucked up, I'm going to be the one to fuck it up. You're not going to get to do that. You don't get that power. Fuck you. I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to be the guy to do that. You don't get to do that. So, yeah, I mean, this is just ridiculous that she's saying that her calling him a rapist is protected under the First Amendment. No, it's not. Like, criminally it is, but not civilly. Denied for the same reasons as paragraph 4. Okay, so this is each count here. All of these counts, and I'm not going to put them back to back and go through them and be like, okay, this is from that one, this is from that one. Basically, she's just denying all of this shit. She's saying admitted that the defendant made statements substantially as quoted, but denied that they are defamatory, false, or actionable. These statements reflect the defendant's. Okay, so she's saying, yeah, I made these statements, but I don't say that they're defamatory or false or actionable. So she's still standing by her accusations, basically, is what she's saying. But he was never charged with a crime. And this is tricky because what I'm getting at here is all she has to really do is convince a judge or a jury that she was raped, regardless of charges. Now, it's going to be harder to prove that. It's going to be harder to convince a judge or a jury that she was raped, but because he wasn't charged. But the problem is that, I mean, it's still going to be on her to prove it. And she's gonna, so basically she's counting on her crocodile tears, and she's counting on her, you know, her fuck me mouth and eyes to convince people that she's a victim. That's what she's counting on here. So denied. The statements are not false. They are based on the defendant's experiences and reports to law enforcement, including allegations of criminal conduct. So these are based on her reports to law enforcement. That's not going to be, this is a joke. This is a fucking joke. All right, let's see what they were saying about the photograph. Admitted that the defendant made statements. This is about the meme. Okay. Admitted that the defendant made statements substantially as quoted, but denied that they are defamatory, false, or actionable. These statements reflect the defendant's honest beliefs based on her direct experiences with the plaintiff, including the incident of a non-consensual sexual activity on October 14th, 2023, and subsequent harassment. They are either true statements of fact, protected opinions, or rhetorical hyperbole. I don't know why I have trouble with that word. Hyperbole in the context of heated public discourse on social media. Denied that the defendant has knowledge of the photograph referenced in subparagraph N, which is in any event satirical commentary and not statement of fact. Now, that's the thing there. Now, that could be considered harassment because she's making this meme that's implying. This is tricky because I just don't know. This is tricky because the meme itself, where, and I'd have to see this thing, but the meme itself where where Aiden is being held at knife point against his throat while in prison implies that she's saying he's going to prison. So that's the complaint Aiden has. Not that, oh my God, she made a meme and it hurt my feelings. It's that this is just another drop in the bucket of things of her method of playing fake victim. So she's trying to convince and create a narrative that he's a rapist and that he's going to prison for it. So making this meme makes it's just another brick in that wall. It's another piece of that puzzle that she is creating a picture of him being a rapist. That's what Aiden's complaint is about the meme. Not that the meme hurt his feelings, but that the meme is contributing to the narrative that he is a rapist, if that makes sense. Yeah, this is crazy. Now, the statements are not false, she says. They are based on the defendant's experiences and reports to law enforcement, including allegations of criminal conduct. Again, allegations: sexual assault, witness intimidation, illegal interception of oral communication, wiretapping, and violations of restraining order. Now, again, the illegal wiretapping charge was dropped. So that's going to be harder for her to prove that too. And observations, let's see, wiretapping and violations of a restraining order and observations of the plaintiff's behavior suggestive of substance abuse or mental health issues. How is she going to prove substance abuse? Unless she has pictures of Aiden fucking blowing down rails off of a table and him smiling, going, hey, with a big straw in his hand. I don't see how she can prove that. Any such statements were made with malice and in good faith. Furthermore, Carney has made multiple public statements about his mental health conditions, depression and anxiety. Wow, this is low. And Carney hasn't publicly admitted to threatening suicide. This is low, man. This is real low. What does that have to do with anything? What does being depressed and anxious have anything to do with being a rapist? Am I prone to rape a woman because I struggle with depression and anxiety, which I openly discuss all the time? Am I prone to thank you, Olivia Nile? Exactly. Olivia Nile's like, this is ridiculous. Am I more prone to being a rapist because I struggle with depression and anxiety? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Dude, let me tell you something. When I'm depressed, man, like I have those spells, dude. It happens. I have those spells where I just fucking put my fucking blanket over my head and I just stay in bed for fucking days at a time. And I don't want to see or hear anything. The last thing I'm going to do is rape somebody. I don't want to be, I don't want to even be, I'm not even angry. I'm just freaking out. Like, I'm afraid of the world. I'm not going to go out and rape somebody. You know what I mean? That's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, to jump to that conclusion that somebody's prone to rape because they struggle with depression and anxiety. The fuck? Wow. And then, of course, denied the statements were not made, blah, 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 blah. So she's denying everything on this, or she admits it and says, basically, she says, either I didn't do this or I did do it, but it's protected under freedom of speech. Bullshit. Bullshit. The defendant restates her responses to paragraphs 1 through 14. Denied no slander occurred. The statements are true opinion or protected speech. Wow. The plaintiff has suffered no cognizable damages, and any alleged harm is self-inflicted by his own public conduct and disclosures. Furthermore, Carney has stated publicly on multiple occasions that his total social media viewership has gone up since the statements and questions were made by Gattani. In fact, after the statements were made, Carney reached 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, a social media video sharing website. Now, that might turn out to be a problem for him. That might turn out to be a problem for him if that's true. If he actually at one point attributes her accusations, specifically her accusations, not anyone else's, her accusations, as being if Aiden has attributed her accusations, specifically hers, to him gaining 150,000 subscribers since those accusations were made, then that's different. But if she's just trying to say, I gained 150,000 subscribers, that he said I gained 150,000 subscribers because she falsely accused me of rape, well, then that's a different story. Let's see. So she's giving Aiden permission to call her a rapist or accuse her of crimes if she has any mental health, or if she has any mental health ailments. I don't get that, but okay. I'm just confused. That's all. And then these footnotes here say, see Exhibit A, Aiden Carney, why I'm taking a mental health break. TURTLEBOY Daily News, 2021, which not that year, it's number 2021. Why I'm taking a mental health break. I wish these, like, I could click on them, but whatever. Aiden Carney suicide prevention live stream tonight at 9. Still looking for nonprofits that aren't afraid to associate with TB and want to save lives. TURTLEBOY Daily News 2021. Okay. So this is her just basically trying to say that he struggled with thoughts of suicide. What I find really funny about this is that some lawyer of hers thought this was a good idea to file this. I find that interesting because you're going to go in front of a judge or a jury, or a judge and a jury. Okay, let me see what Olivia's saying here. Because she's trying to say it's okay for her to call Aiden a rapist because he has been open about struggling with depression and anxiety. So depression equals you're now a rapist. Right. I mean, what I'm getting at here, though, it feels like she's trying to say that he's more prone to raping somebody because he might be suicidal. So if you're suicidal, then you're a rapist now? If you struggle with thoughts of suicide? And let me tell you something. If you've ever been suicidal, like to the point to where you, and I don't mean to alarm anyone, but it happens all the time. It kind of becomes your, like, your depression becomes such, it's like a fucking, like, pressure, you know? Like it's just squeezing you, suffocating you. And you get to a point to where you're just like, I just want to die. and I'll fucking do whatever it takes to just fucking end this. You know, I don't want to feel like this. Right? Wait, Grant wrote this? Grant didn't write this. Grant wrote this? Nuh-uh. Y'all are just fucking around in the chat. You guys are sure Grant wrote this? Grant and ChatGPT. ChatGPT. And if she's pro se. No, I know. No, I know Grant helps her. I know that. Right, Olivia calls for speculation for sure. I want an expert to weigh in on this shit. I want to hear from a mental health professional that suicide can make you a rapist. Having thoughts of suicide can make you a rapist. And if Julie Grant wrote, or not Julie Grant, what am I talking about? If Wendy Murphy wrote this, even better. I actually give Grant more credit than I give Wendy Murphy. Is that fucking wild? Like, it's the funniest thing about Grant. Grant gets a pass with me, bro. Grant gets a pass with me because, I mean, he's just a product of Wendy. Like, I don't even blame Grant for being Grant. Like, he's a product of Wendy Murphy. Wendy Murphy is the big villain here. You know what I mean? And this is just fucking hilarious. Like, if Grant wrote this shit with ChatGPT, I'm loving it. This is great. This is even better than I thought. In this regard, Carney has publicly stated in the Times since the statements were made that his income has gone up and that he's more successful and that Carney has an upcoming movie, podcast, and book deals. None of this is delusional. Okay. So basically she's saying, yeah, it was just her. Okay. So basically she's saying that me, the fake victim, I should be credited. He should be thanking me because I falsely accused this guy of rape. And now, since I falsely accused him of rape, he's getting a book deal, a movie deal, documentaries, blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is the most insane thing that I've ever seen. This isn't even a real, I mean, it's technically really a court document, but this was not written by a lawyer. There's no way this was written by a lawyer unless it's Wendy Murphy. I would not put this past Wendy Murphy because when every fucking thing that I've heard come out of Wendy Murphy's face and whatever she's typed on Twitter, like this is right up there with that. Right up there with that shit. So, yeah, this is crazy. This is wild. Denied, blah, 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 blah. Reasons to count one. Restates the response to paragraphs 126. Denied. The defendant's conduct was neither intentional to cause distress nor extreme and outrageous. Distress nor extreme and outrageous. It was responsive to the plaintiff's own extreme actions, including alleged sexual assault, threats, harassment, and public defamation of the defendant. Katani's public statements were also made due to the negligence per se of state officials who disclosed the rape report in violation of law and their duty to Katani, and because those officials failed to take action on her report, despite informing Katani of the investigation of Carney for rape was and remains open. This was thus Katani commenting on a matter of public concern. This is so fucking great. Indeed, on the same night, January 7th, 2025, that the restraining order held by Katani was not renewed, Carney went on a social media live show, a YouTube presentation, and on a social media live show and brought up the sexual assault allegations and questions prior to Katani discussing the sexual assault in public. Carney joked with other members of the social media show about the quality of the sex with Katani during the sexual assault. Jesus. At another point in time during a public broadcast, Carney also joked gleefully about how Gattani refused to give him a roadhead on the night of the sexual assault and attempted to flee Carney's vehicle during that portion of the sexual assault. The defendant restates her responses to paragraphs 1 through 32. The requested injunction is an unconstitutional prior restraint on speech. Affirmative defenses, failure to state a claim. Now, let me go back a little bit here. So here she's talking about, I don't give a fuck about the roadhead situation. Here she's talking about that she's holding the cops responsible, including Brian Tully, who clearly is looking for any reason to nail this guy, right? This is what's going to be fun to prove. Because if I'm on Aiden Carney's defense team with the mighty Mark Betterow and Tim Bradle, if I'm on this defense team, I would be wanting to strategize towards the whole I would want to lean towards the whole fact that Tully has been trying to fucking railroad this guy. Tully loves this. Tully, we went over the body cam footage yesterday with Andrea Burkhart. That was corrected, by the way. Little side note here. There was the slight debate while Aiden was on the panel yesterday, whether it was Andrea or Andrea. Someone posted on Twitter and asked her and tagged her, and she actually corrected it and said it's actually Andrea. She goes by Andrea. So Aiden was right. Aiden was correct. I just assumed I was right because she didn't correct me. But in the tweet, she even says, I just don't even really correct people. She said something to that effect. So, yeah, so it's Andrea Burkhart. But I went over the body cam footage of when they went to his house, arrested him, or they stalked his children's bus stop to arrest him, and then went to his house and searched for his tech, confiscated his tech, which he still has not gotten back. So there's all these reasons and all this proof supposedly that Tully was part of this whole railroad job and probably was the wide receiver in the whole goddamn thing. So what we're looking at here is she wants to blame Brian Tully for not taking action. But what this proves for the most part is that she's just angry that she couldn't make the only charges that would actually send him to prison stick. And it also proves that since Tully is looking for any reason, we know for a fact at this point, based on everything that we know, that Tully was doing everything that he could to throw Aiden in jail, but refused to charge him with this. It just proves that there's no way to prove it. He even believes that this is false and that there's no way to prove this. There's no way to convince a judge or a jury, even though it's false, that this happened. He's willing to lie about other shit. He's willing to sit on the stand and lie in the Karen Reed case. He's willing to sit on the stand and lie when it comes to Aiden's case because he falsely charged him with witness intimidation. So why, if he's got such a hard-on for Aiden, why wouldn't he move forward with the charges of rape? Well, because even Tully believes that this is impossible to convince anybody of, because there's video footage that proves otherwise. That's why. So now she's mad. Like, this is just a big temper tantrum. This is, imagine her screaming and yelling. And I'm not going to do that to you guys because I could read this with her screaming and yelling like she did in Aiden's fucking recording, but I'm not going to do that. But I hear that in my voice, or like in her voice. I hear it in her voice, screaming and yelling this nonsense, this incoherent bullshit in the guise of a court filing. Under the guise of a court filing. So yeah, this is fucking crazy. The affirmative defenses: failure to state a claim, complainant fails to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Truth, substantial truth, all statements of fact are true or substantially true. Opinion, rhetorical hyperbole. These statements are non-actionable opinions or a hyperbole protected by the First Amendment. Wow. Fair comment report. The statements constitute fair comment on matters of public concern or fair reporting of official proceedings. Actual malice not proven. I mean, there's no way she's going to win this. This is really crazy that she even thinks that she can. And if I had to guess, she probably took this to an attorney, not this filing, but if I had to guess, she took this to an attorney, this whole, I want to countersue, and an attorney was like, you're not going to win. There's no way for, I mean, I'm not going to take this case on. Like, how much money do you got? You don't have any money? Okay, but when I win, like, I stand to make a whole bunch of money because he has all this, he's got a movie deal coming up and he's got all this money from donations and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, he's grown significantly and he attributes it to me. So as soon as we get that payoff, I'll pay you. But the defendant or the defense attorney or the civil attorney that she tried to hire most likely was like, the problem with all that is you're not going to win. So I'm going to put all this work into trying to win you an unwinnable case, and then there's no payoff for me. All these work hours, all these resources and time from my firm are going to go completely down the toilet. Why the fuck would I do that? So she's like, fuck you, I'll just file it myself. Which is, again, consistent with her tantrum-like behavior. Actual malice not proven. If the plaintiff is a public figure, a limited purpose public figure as a blogger and public commentator who willfully interests himself into high-profile cases like the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe matter, he cannot prove actual malice. Furthermore, wait, hold on. Let me read that again. If the plaintiff is a public figure or a limited purpose public figure as a blogger and public commentator who willfully interests himself into high-profile cases like the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe matter, he cannot prove actual malice. Of course he can. He can prove exactly what you were trying to do. That's malice. If you were trying to defame his reputation, if you were trying to destroy his name and his reputation, and you were doing so because it's malicious, then yes, he absolutely can sue you for that. Of course he can sue you for that. And yes, of course, there's malice there. Furthermore, if Carney asserts his TURTLEBOY public persona is merely a character that he is playing for purposes of a defense to Gittani's counter-complaint, then any statements by Gittani about such a character are per se not libelous or defamatory, or characters being played by an actor cannot be defamed or libeled. Notwithstanding the veracity, this sounds like Grant rantings, like, wow. Veracity of the statements in question, which Gittani asserts were true, protected opinion, or hyperbole. This is fascinating. So if TURTLEBOY is saying that the TURTLEBOY thing is just merely a character that he's playing, this is where I get hung up here. For purposes of a defense Okay, he hasn't done that yet. That's okay. I wanted to make sure I was reading this right. So already what she's doing here, no, it may not be. Get the fuck out of here, Karen T. That's not gonna, there's nothing about this may be true. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you might be talking about him being, or Grant writing this. What's up, Kelly Reed? So, yeah, this is crazy shit. This is crazy shit. And I mean crazy literally. Like, this is just crazy shit. It's crazy ramblings in a court filing. It's insane. She's sitting here saying that if he tries to defend himself from my counterclaim, that he's just acting, then this is why he can't say that. You don't put that in a court filing. You address it when it happens. You don't waste the judge's time with that shit. This is wild. Like, she's sitting here predicting the future in a court filing. She's sitting there. Well, I went into my law and stuff crystal ball and I saw that, Aiden's he's going to say this and that. So if he tries it, Your Honor, it's because of this. Just saying. Fucking crazy. Wow. Notwithstanding the veracity of the statements in question, which Katani asserts were true, predicted, blah, 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 blah. Privileged. The statements are privileged as responses to the plaintiff's own public attacks and disclosures. Unclean hands. What? Unclean hands. That's something I've never seen in bold on a court filing, dude. What? Charlie Lynn, thank you so much. Legally, actual malice means said with it disregard for the truth, aka a lie. Thank you. Unclean hands. The plaintiff comes to court with unclean hands due to his own tortuous conduct toward the defendant. I can't believe that's in a court filing. Listen, man. The Glare Institute of Law and stuff only covers so much shit. But I could tell you, in all my years as the founder of the Glare Institute of Law and stuff, I have never seen something like that posted in a court filing ever. As many as I've read on this channel, I have never, ever, ever seen that shit. Unclean hands. TURTLEBOY comes to court with unclean hands due to his own tortuous conduct toward the defendant. You have to prove that, bro. Like, you can't just go, but his hands are dirty. His hands are dirty, Your Honor. His hands are dirty. Just saying. Dirty. He's a dirty birdie. He's a dirty birdie, Your Honor. Okay, so you're accusing him of being a dirty birdie. That's what we're here in court for. Put on my robe, sat behind here, slam my gavel so that you can tell me that the guy suing you is a dirty birdie. Okay. Statute of limitations. Any claims based on statements prior to the applicable limitations period are barred. I can't even imagine a law tuber going over this. Unless I would love to see one. You know who I want to see go over this? Larry, the DUI guy. Sure, it'd be fun to hear Melanie Little go over it. Sure, it'd be fun to hear Ian Runkle go over it. Sure, it'd be fun to hear Bob Motta go over it. All of these guys, yes, it would be so much fun. I would love to hear. These are the two lawyers that I would love to hear go over this. And I think you can name one. I already named one. If you could think of the other, then you know me. Because I'm thinking of two attorneys, Larry, the DUI guy, being one of them. And the other one is who, guys? Who's going to read this and think it's the funniest fucking thing that they've ever read in a court filing? There it is. Boom. There it is. Boom. There it is. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Rackets, Ricada. Yes, I want a stream from Nick Ricada going over this. I want that so bad. I want that so bad. So much fun. No, I mean, Bettero can't. He's not. I mean, come on, guys. Like, let's get real. Bettero going over this. He can't. He can't go over it. That's why it's absurd. Proctor's Booze Cruiser Tours. I've heard more common sense coming from an 8-month-old babbling. You should have an IQ drop warning before reading. Dude, I haven't gotten to the end, so I haven't even read this. This was sent to me. I was happy to get it. And yeah. No, like I said, I want to hear all these. I would love to hear every one of those attorneys' takes on it. But the ones that I'm itching for are two. Larry, the DUI guy, and Nick Ricada Law. Those are the two people that I really want to see read this shit and go over it. No damage. The plaintiff has suffered no actual damages. Statute of limitations. First Amendment. All claims are barred, blah, blah, blah. This is ridiculous. Alternative causation of damages. And any alleged losses or harm suffered by plaintiff Carney, including reputational or economic damage, were caused not by Gattani's statements, but by Carney's own actions, including his open felony cases, indictments for witness intimidation and wiretapping, Norfolk Superior Court docket, blah, blah, blah. But that charge was dropped. You can't. Why are you citing that when the charge was dropped? Like, you know who I feel bad for the most? If I didn't think, if they weren't thinking, if they weren't reading this, if I wasn't convinced that Tim Bradle and Mark Bettero were reading this, if I wasn't convinced that they were reading this and laughing their fucking asses off, I would feel bad that they had to read this. I would feel bad. I would feel like I would feel sorry for them for having to read this, if I'm being completely honest. No, I know he doesn't have to prove damages. I mean, that's Glare Institute of Law and stuff bullshit right there. I know he doesn't have to prove damages. Okay, you guys aren't understanding what I'm saying. I know Melanie Little's good at this. In fact, there's probably nobody better than Melanie Little at reading these civil motions and going over them. There's probably no one better. You're missing my point. I would find it, me personally, would find it that much more entertaining to hear Nick Ricada or Larry the DUI guy go over it. That's what I'm saying. My personal taste. Like, yes, Mozart is a much better musician than, I don't know, fucking the guitarist for the Bronx, right? But I'd rather watch the Bronx live than Mozart. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys aren't getting where I'm coming from here. Yeah, no, I want to hear this from fucking funny, hilarious, fucking comedic lawyers, dude. Because this is a fucking comedy. That's what this is. This is what this is. His sexually charged comments on his media platforms, his hostile and unprofessional treatment of viewers during live streams, his harassment campaigns targeting the family of John O'Keefe and others, and in his general conduct that has alienated some potential audiences and stakeholders. This is a wow. Oh, this is so good. And this is toothpaste out of the tube, by the way. The best way that I could describe what this is toothpaste out of the tube. Let me explain. So, by toothpaste being out of the tube, the metaphor meaning that you can't put the toothpaste back in. It's already out. It's already done. Meaning this is filed. It's done. There's no way. This is proving her intent. This is how delusional she is, because she's proving exactly what her issues are. With this court filing, she's proving Aiden's case already. She's doing it for him. This was like, this isn't a counterclaim. It's a fucking sitcom. If Aiden's filing is a sitcom, this is a spinoff of that sitcom. That's what this is. If this filing is Alice, or if Aiden's filing is Alice, this filing is Mel's Diner. That's what this shit is. The only difference is this is way funnier. This is where one of those rare occasions where the spinoff is actually funnier than the original show. I love this. This is so good. This is this proves this proves Aiden's case, because this is the ramblings of a moron. This is beyond the perfect example of the saying that a person who represents themselves has a fool for a client. This is exactly what this is. This is exactly what this is. This is like a shining example. It redefines the term. It rewords it. It's no longer a person who represents themselves has a fool for a client. This is a person who represents themselves has a fucking delusional, psychotic retard for a client. That's what this is. I've never seen any shit like this in my life. This is fucking amazing. We're going to be here all night, folks. I got plenty of energy drinks. You guys hooked it up. Thank you so much for that yesterday, by the way. We're going to be here for a minute because this is fucking great. Excuse me. Wow. Here's the counterclaim. Oh, here we're getting into the juicy stuff. Pursuant to mass, blah, 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 blah. Counterclaim plaintiff Lindsay Gattani asserts the following counterclaims against plaintiff counterclaim defendant Aiden Carney and additional counterclaim defendants Medfield Police Detective Dylan Haldeman, Massachusetts State Lieutenant Brian Tully, Norfolk District Attorney's Office Special Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, and Jason Broyles collectively with Carney, the counter defendants. Jurisdiction and venue are proper in this court. Blah, 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 blah. The court, personal, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to read all this bullshit. Related to Carney's cases directed on activities in post Massachusetts, blah, 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 blah. Including defamatory and privacy invading posts that harm a Massachusetts residents. Such jurisdiction comports with due process under the U.S. Constitution, as Broyles has purposely availed himself of the privilege of conducting activities in Massachusetts, blah, 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 creating minimum contacts with the forum such that he could reasonably anticipate being hauled into court here. Hauled into court here for harms arising from those activities. I love that technical legal terminology there. Hauled into court. Never seen those words used in a court filing. I'm sure they have been before, but in quotations, because they're quoting somebody who said it. But this is just her saying, we can haul his ass into court. We can haul him into court. Haul his ass into court. Hold on. No. Delete. I'm going to take out ass. Hauled into court. That's what I think was going through her head when she wrote that. Hauled into court. Jason Broyles is going to get hauled into court by his digital titties. Sorry. I couldn't help it. The court has personal jurisdiction over Broyles, a resident of Connecticut, pursuant to blah, blah, blah. Commonwealth by regularly traveling to Massachusetts to attend court hearings related to Carney's cases and directing online activities and posts at Massachusetts residents and audiences, causing tortuous injury in the Commonwealth by acts or omissions outside the state, including defamatory and privacy invading posts that harm a Massachusetts resident. Such jurisdiction comports with the due process under the U.S. Constitution. This is all ChatGPT right here, bro. As Broyles has purposely availed himself of the privilege of conducting activities in Massachusetts, attending Massachusetts court proceedings and targeting Massachusetts-based legal matters and audiences via social media, creating minimum contacts with the forum such that he could reasonably anticipate being hauled into court here for harms arising from those activities. See Ticketmaster New York. Okay. Ticketmaster. The fuck does Ticketmaster have anything to do with it? Weird. Fuck, what page was I on? Okay, here we go. Creating minimum contacts with forums such as that he could reasonably anticipate being hauled into court here for harms arising from those activities. Calder, blah, 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 blah. Just, I mean, it's like she's like, as long as I state case law, we're good. Fun stuff. Burger King Corporation, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that would be a whole nother stream right there, is to like explore those cases, like look those cases up and find out what the fuck is going on. Are they even remotely relevant? Exercising jurisdiction, because remember, this is like Hank Brennan did the same goddamn thing. He did the same thing. He quoted case law that had nothing to do with his filing or the case. Like, so absurdly that it annoyed the shit out of Bob Alessi. And it annoyed the shit out of Alan Jackson. Like, I remember Bob Alessi just being like, dude, this has nothing to fucking do with this case. And he points it out. He's like, he cites this right here. He's got his binder, and he's like, he cites this right here. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's a completely separate issue. It's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah, this is just a bunch of nonsense. I don't want to read this. Wait. He acted under color of law at all relevant times. Okay, so facts common to all counts. On October 14th, 2023, Carney sexually assaulted Gattani. The assault began at Mick Morgan's bar in Norwood, where Carney engaged in non-consensual sexual contact in a public area. While driving Gattani from the bar to her home in Medfield, Carney attempted to elicit Gattani to perform oral sex on him, roadhead. In Carney's words, Gattani fled Carney's vehicle on an active roadway to avoid doing so, whereupon two passerby intervened and attempted to rescue her. They attempted to rescue her, folks. Carney then prevented those two passing motorists from assisting Gattani, forced Gattani back into his car, and then transported her back to her apartment, where he engaged in further non-consensual sexual intercourse with Gattani, was impaired and unable to consent. Wow. Carney recorded the encounter without Gattani's knowledge or consent at the time. I think it was the other way around, wasn't it? Carney's actions during the drive prevented rescue and forcing Gattani back into the vehicle. Constituted false imprisonment, as Gattani was confined against her will without legal justification, causing her fear, humiliation, and physical restraint. What? Okay. Physical restraint. So here's Aiden driving a Lexus, and he's like pulling a fucking Kramer stop short and just holding her there. Like, nope, you're not getting out of here. Nope, you're not getting out of here. You're not going anywhere. No. You know that didn't happen. Like, you know that didn't happen. Caused her physical restraint, held her prisoner in his car on the way back to the house. And then what did he do? Club her over the head? Like, what is this? This is insane. Nobody's going to believe this. And the fucked up part is that this is what makes me mad, actually. Because if this is going to be a jury trial, if this is going to be a civil jury trial, whoever's in that courtroom, and it doesn't even matter if it's a jury trial or whatever. It's just, if it's a jury, it's just more people. But whoever's in that courtroom is most likely going to see Aiden having sex with this person, and it's humiliating. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a shy guy, but I certain things are fucking private. I don't need the world fucking looking at my shit, especially under these circumstances. You know what I mean? So, like, this just makes me mad, that, like, he's got to sit there and deal with this bullshit. And because he has to deal with this bullshit, that video is probably going to be played in the courtroom in front of everybody. Now, hopefully, if it's a bench trial, then the judge will probably say, I'll review this in my chambers. I'll be back shortly. We're going to take a indefinite recess. But, it just sucks that this judge is going to have to fucking watch this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. I hope they throw it out. I seriously hope they throw it out. Like, I seriously hope that a judge reads this and just goes, nope. No. I'm throwing this shit out immediately. As a direct result of this additional incident, Gitani has incurred further medical expenses, e.g. therapy from trauma, suffered increased reputational damage, e.g. fear of public disclosure, endured heightened pain and suffering, e.g. flashbacks and anxiety, and incurred legal expenses. Dude, stop it with the legal expenses. Dude, you're doing this. You did all this. What are you talking about? This dude was just trying to get the fuck away from you. You psychotic, insane person. Yeah, this has been filed. Yeah, this has been filed. This isn't just some shit that's out there. This has been filed. Like, a judge is going to read this if he hasn't already. On December 14th, 2023, during an interview with Lieutenant Brian Tully and a private investigator, Nelson D. Guevia, regarding Gitani's knowledge of Carney and other matter, Gitani first reported the assault. Lieutenant Tully urged her to file an official report, but Gitani declined out of fear of retaliation. Or she knew it was a fucking lie and she was afraid of filing a false police report. On December 22nd, 2023, Lieutenant Tully and the investigator served Gitani with a grand jury subpoena unannounced. Get the fuck out of here, unannounced. On December 22nd, 2023, Carney was invited to Gitani's home after Gitani received that grand jury subpoena related to Carney and Karen Reed. Carney declined that invitation. During that day and into the morning of December 23rd, 2023, Carney began a series of harassing communications towards Gitani. Carney sent Gitani highly sensitive judicial documents and made other implied threats until Gitani provided information to Carney. Then Carney told Gitani he would visit her the next day, December 23, 2023. On the morning of December 23rd, 2023, Carney asked Gitani to install the Signal Messenger application, an app that Gitani understands is used for the purposes of encrypted communication. Carney, after those series of messages and attempts at coercive control, appeared at Gitani's home, demanded to see her phone, threatened retaliation if she testified before the grand jury, or refused to comply with Carney's demands, took notes from her phone, wrestled her for the notes, and pushed her onto the couch. Wow. During this exchange, I mean, I love that. Wrestled her. There was no wrestling going on in that recording. During the exchange, Carney told Gitani that she could legally delete all information on her phone because no preservation order had yet been served by prosecutors on Gitani. When Gitani asked Carney what she should do at the grand jury, if asked about the deleted information, Carney told Gitani to say she did not remember when asked those questions. Carney then offered Gitani a lawyer and said he would be willing to pay for it to help Gitani. However, in the same breath, Carney informed Gitani that he could not trust her any longer as she had spoken to the police, and in turn, Gitani would only be permitted to meet with that lawyer with Carney present. Gitani declined all of these offers from Carney. On December 24th, 2023, Gitani reported assault and battery and witness intimidation to Lieutenant Brian Tully, then called Medfield Police. Medfield Police then called Gitani and informed her they would be visiting her apartment. At that point, the Medfield Police took a police report. A BOLO, be on the lookout, was issued for Carney, and an emergency restraining order was sought by Gitani and granted on Gitani's behalf against Carney. Now, remember, this is all fun and games, bro. All fun and fucking games to this person. Because all of this was done. Yes, all of this did happen. But what this leaves out is what I would imagine this mega motion is going to contain, which is proof. Well, the motion itself won't contain it, but it'll have a completely different story. And this motion, we all know the mighty Mark Betterow is not going to file a motion like this unless he absolutely intends to prove what he put in this filing in court during a trial. So, I mean, this is going to be totally, this is all true, but what's going to happen is she's not realizing that Lieutenant Brian Tully, she's implicating him here. She's implicating Brian Tully here and showing, I mean, if I'm Aiden's attorney, I'm going, she admits in her own filing, Your Honor. She admits in her own filing that she was communicating directly with Brian Tully. Why? Brian Tully isn't Medfield Police. It's a local matter, right? It's a Medfield Police matter. That's why the Medfield Police came over. If she was smart, if she had half a brain, she would have just said, I contacted the Medfield Police and they took my statement and I filed a report. Oh, man, I love this shit. Oh, I love that shit. So, I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing to me. Because why wouldn't she just go to the Medfield Police Department and file a complaint? Why wouldn't she just do that? Why did she need Brian Tully, a Massachusetts state trooper who was assigned to the Karen Reed case, also a witness in the Karen Reed case, and works directly under Michael Morrissey? Why would she admit that she was dealing with him directly if there wasn't something completely fucking unethical and shady going on here? If she got raped, go fucking file a report with the Medfield Police, dude. What are you doing? Why are you calling Brian Tully? That makes no sense. No, yeah. I already said that was the other way around. Yeah, that's the other way around. Like, she recorded him without his knowledge, as I understand it. And that video, because it wasn't as if Aiden got accused and then they came and said, hey, you're being accused of rape. And then Aiden goes, well, I have video of the incident that I recorded without her knowledge, by the way. But I videotaped us having sex and she didn't know it, but it proves that I didn't rape her. That's not what fucking happened. That's fucking crazy. I guarantee you that it was the other way around. I guarantee you that she recorded him without his knowledge. She reported, she gave the video to the officers, to the shitbags, Brian Tully and whoever else. And they were like, I don't think he knows he's being recorded here. And I'm not seeing anything unconsensual. So I don't know what you expect us to do. Like, that's a Medfield thing. Don't fucking come to me with that shit. This is fucking wild. And she's saying that he recorded her without her knowledge. Yeah. Lambetero. Love that shit. Mega Motion brought to you by Lambetero. On January 8th, 2024, the original restraining order issued December 24th was extended for a further term of 1 year. Gattani testified before the grand jury on February 1st and February 22nd, 2024. On February 23rd, 2024, Carney was released after 60 days instead of his initial 90-day term due to statutory limitations and indicted for witness intimidation and legal interception of oral communications. Wasn't he originally supposed to be in there for 60 days? Wasn't it 60 days initially anyway? And they tried to get it extended, but it didn't happen. I could be wrong. I mean, it was fucking 2 years ago. I don't remember. Yeah, none of this is relevant. So it was 90? It was 90. Okay, thank you. It was 90. Around February 28th, 2024, Gattani was summoned into Medfield police regarding a false accusation by Carney that Gattani wiretapped him by recording sex without consent via home security cameras. During the interview, police demanded to view all intimate videos and photos on her phone of Gattani and Carney, which she provided under duress. What? Oh my fucking God. Holy shit. Okay. Stop it. This is the craziest shit I've ever read in my life. Hands down, bar none. Craziest shit I've ever read in my life. Okay, so she recorded him through these video cameras without his knowledge. Earlier in the motion, she says that he recorded her without her knowledge, right? He recorded her without her knowledge, but she's the one that brings the evidence from her phone that is connected to her security cameras to prove that he raped her. But what did he do? Did he like record her without his consent and go, yeah, baby, check it out. Look at me raping you. Check it out. Whoop. Send. Is that what happened? Is that what she's saying happened? I love this. This is fucking great. This is fucking great. So she's saying Aiden was like, I totally raped you and I totally recorded it. Here is the video. Send. Whoop. That's what happened? Okay. But then she walks into the Medfield police station and says, I got it on my phone. Okay. In explaining examples of Carney's own secret recordings, Gattani described the October 14th, 2023 assault along with two other occasions on which Carney had recorded Gattani during a sexual act. Gattani mentioned that the recording from October 14th, 2023 stood out due to the events of that night. Gattani then described the events of the night, October 14th, 2023, to the Medfield police officers. At that point, police paused the interview and informed Gattani that what she had just described was sexual assault. Okay, wait. Okay, so what she described to them, they said was sexual assault. Of course, because I guarantee you she lied. Gattani begged them to not pursue charges at that time due to fear of retaliation. I call absolute bullshit on that. Seeing as 6 of her fucking ex-boyfriends are in jail or went to jail or have restraining orders on them. Get the fuck out of here. Gattani begged them to blah, 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 blah. Including Carney's threats to release intimate videos prior to Massachusetts revenge porn law, although that law does apply ex post facto for civil claims. Gattani was never charged with wiretapping. In the following days or weeks, Gattani informed her victim advocate and Medfield police that she had changed her mind and wished to cooperate with the criminal process against Carney for the sexual assault. Gattani also provided video and text message evidence to the Medfield police. The police confirmed receipt of that evidence and Gattani's desire to pursue charges, but provided no updates. On April 13th, 2024, Carney publicly announced on YouTube, on a YouTube presentation, that episode 6, blah, 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 the Medfield police were investigating him for rape, calling it a lie. This was the first public mention of the allegations initiated by Carney himself. Lindsay is here wanting to speak. Send her a link. Yeah, she can come up here. Absolutely. I'd love to have her up here. Where can I send it to? I mean, I'm not going to drop it in the chat, but she can call into the show as long as nobody else calls in. Like, as long as nobody else calls in, I'll put the phone number up, but nobody but Lindsay Gattani call into this show. Where is she in the chat? What's her handle? Yeah, I don't think it's her. Yeah, I call bullshit. Because I'm not sending a link to a troll. That I'm not doing. I'm not sending a link to a troll. But they can call into the show. I mean, some of you guys just want it to be her. I mean, I'm taking that with a grain of salt. But, all right, look. If she wants to call in, that's what I'm going to do. Look, here we go. Let's do this. Yep. As long as nobody calls into the show, nobody else. If it's not her, I'm hanging up on you. I'm not even going to be nice about it. I'm just going to hang up. But the number's right here, Lindsay, if you want to call in. I just don't want it to be said that I didn't give her a chance. She's more than welcome to call. I'm more than willing to hear her side of the story. Because this is wild. What I'm reading is wild. I want to give her the chance to explain. And she's got about 60 seconds before I move on. Because I got a show to do here. Yep. You had your chance. I'm done. All right. And see, man, I lost my place. So annoying. All right. On August 8th, 2024, an individual using the alias Haley Walbrecht or whatever, digital titties, later revealed as Jason Broyles acting on Carney's behalf, posted Gitani Files Part 3 online, including an unredacted confidential police report of, well, it's not confidential if it's public record. Like, if it's out there, it's out there. It's public. That's not confidential. Of Gitani's assault allegation. The Gitani Files was a multi-part blog series created by Broyles for the purposes of targeting Gitani on behalf of Carney. The post was explicit and graphic in nature and contained lies about Gitani, mischaracterized the events, and falsely claimed police concluded no rape occurred. This was the first time that Gitani had been exposed to the details of her own rape report. It's because you don't know how to fucking look up a public record. On or about 2024, prior to releasing the unredacted sexual assault report on or about August 8th, 2024, Jason Broyles posted a series of blogs and videos titled The Gitani Files Part 1 and The Gitani Files Part 2 on his platform, which targets Massachusetts audiences and aligns with the objectives of Carney's TURTLEBOY Daily News and YouTube channel as to targeting Gitani with false and defamatory statements that, in turn, incited Broyles and Carney's audiences to engage in large-scale harassment campaigns against Gitani, which I do not condone. I have never, ever posted something and tagged her on Twitter going, "You're a fucking liar," and blah, 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 blah. "You're a piece of shit," and fucking called her or anything like that. I've never done that. I've stated my opinions here. I've stated my opinions on Twitter, more than likely, but I've never gone out of my way to attack this person. I don't give a shit what she's doing with her life. My only concern is her role in these legal matters. These blogs and other public statements by Broyles contain numerous false statements about Gitani, including but not limited to accusations of fraud, false statements about Gitani being a fake victim of domestic violence, fabricating her sexual assault allegations, and engaging in criminal or immoral conduct, all of which were made with knowledge of their falsity or reckless disregard for the truth. Broyles' Gitani Files posts induced a massive campaign of public harassment against Gitani, with his audience and Carney's followers engaging in online and real-world attacks, including threats, derogatory comments, and public shaming to the benefit of Carney's efforts to disregard or to discredit Gitani as a victim and witness in his criminal cases. Well, that's because you are full of shit. I mean, you're showing with this with the motion itself that you're a liar. This is what's amazing. Like, the motion itself dictates that you're a liar because you contradict yourself in the motion. As a direct result of Broyles' actions, Gitani suffered severe emotional distress, further reputational damage, e.g., loss of credibility in her community with law enforcement and with the courts. Because, you know, I'm sure that Lindsay Gitani had a stellar reputation already with the courts. I'm sure that was, yeah. I'm sure that she was well renowned and regarded in the courts of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm sure. Further reputational damage, e.g., loss of credibility or community law enforcement with the courts, medical expenses, e.g., increased therapy costs, pain and suffering, and legal expenses to counteract the harassment. See, this is what's happening. I think I'm only speculating here, but I think that the only reason that she's going after Brian Tully here is because Brian Tully chewed her up and spit her out. That's what I think happened. I think the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Norfolk County DA's office specifically, and the Massachusetts State Police or members of the Massachusetts State Police who work under Michael Morrissey at the Norfolk County DA's office have chewed her up and spit her out. She is no longer of use to her. As a matter of fact, she is a detriment to them because, like a bunch of fucking desperate, dumb fucking assholes, they employed her and Kate Peter to try to railroad TURTLEBOY. The two least credible and most idiotic fucking people that you can imagine, they employed these two and their efforts to do this. Oh, it's 4 restraining orders and 3 men went to jail. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for the correction. So it's 4 restraining orders and 3 men went to jail. I thought it was 6. Excuse me. Right. See, I'm speculating that Brian Tully and whoever else in the Norfolk County DA's office and connected directly to the Norfolk County DA's office wants absolutely nothing to do with her at this point because they know that those recordings are out there. They know that the text messages are out there. They know now, even though they're impounded, they know that these text messages are out there that prove collusion. And they are going to stay as far away from her as they possibly can. They're going to keep as far away from her as they can because she felt real safe because she was like, I've got the Massachusetts State Police got my back. They got my back. The Norfolk County DA's office has my back. But then now that they're in the hot seat, they're like, I don't know that bitch. Get her the fuck out of here. I don't know you. Who? What? Me? Well, who are you? Oh, guarantee you. All right. Aiden's in the chat. Thanks, buddy. Just to be clear, there are 2 sex videos. October 14th fridge video, which I sent to her upon request. Okay. And October 20th video, which I didn't realize was on. That's not the fake rape one. So the fridge video is the fake rape one. And you videotaped it and sent it to her because she wanted it. Now, I totally believe that. I'm not being sarcastic. I'll explain. I can't let my boy go out like that. Like, I can't let him go out like, you know what I mean? I can't let my boy go out like that and just be out here, people judging him for being a sex freak. Okay? I'm not going to let him go out like that. Look, I have several sex videos that I have filmed with consent, and literally every single one of them were requested by the recipient of the hoity-goity in those videos. Each one of them. Every single time. Like, and that's part of the whole thing. Like, I'll be honest. I pull out my phone and then they're like, are you going to film this? Like, fuck yeah, you know I'm going to film this shit. Pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean? And then when it's all over, they go, send that to me. Every single fucking time. Okay? This is a fact. This cannot be denied. I can prove it. I have every text message where they go, send that to me. That's hot. Because you know what? There was one girl where she asked me face to face. And I said, text me. Text me. Text me and ask for it. Because I'm not fucking stupid. I want that shit in writing. So, like, This is not an uncommon thing to happen. This is way more common than you think for you prudes out there. Okay. One second here, folks. Okay. All right, we're going to take a little detour here, folks. And people, just to confirm, and get you to understand that this is a lot more believable than you would think, you prudes, you ladies with cobwebs. This is proof right here that this very much does happen. I mean, what else do you need? What else do you need? That's her right there saying, send me the video when you get a chance. That's Aiden loving it. Because that's hot too. You know what I'm saying? It's hot when they're like, yo, I want that. I want that video. Okay, I got you, babe. Hold on a second. Hold, please. I mean, it's not uncommon. This happens. Let's move on to the next photo, shall we? Here she's saying, you're so fucking hot. You most definitely do. I love watching you fuck me. I still don't understand how you fucked me upside down, though. Listen, bro. I don't mean to laugh, but if Aiden was sitting right next to me and I was reading this on a phone, I would have went like this. Kept reading. I'd have fist bumped him like, there you go, bro. I'm not even trying to lie. I'm just saying, like, good on you, bro. The upside down fuck. Well done, sir. Well done. Homie's credibility just went up like 10 notches, bro. I hate that I was too drunk to even enjoy or remember you fingering me at the bar. Okay, wait. One, you don't remember that. I did it for 20 minutes. It was crazy. You were doing the thing where you had your legs wrapped around me and I was holding you up and fucking you in the air. And then you must kind of fell backwards and your head was hanging over the floor, but my dick was still in you. So I just kept fucking you. Okay. All right. A little scientific explanation there. You know, I get it. Like, yeah, it's not that crazy. You know, like I was holding you up, you fell backwards and, yeah, you just keep going. You just do what you got to do. I get it. You just do what you got to do. Like, you don't stop. Like, if she's really getting into it, you don't stop. You know what I mean? You just, until she says stop, you don't stop. Now, if she's passed the fuck out, that's a totally different story. But the thing is, man, is nobody's raping somebody. Nobody's raping somebody like because they're so drunk and passed out that, you know, you like, if I'm sorry, I got to get like, okay, if I'm holding you up, right? Most likely I got you by your bum, you know, I'm holding you by that, but that's not enough. Like, you have to either be holding me, like this tight around my neck for this to work, or and not even tight. You just have to have your hands locked behind my neck for that to work. And or you have to be like, in order to be upside down, that means that you're holding yourself up with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just like, bleh, there's no way. It's impossible. You're just fucking, it's like trying to pick up a sleeping cat, but like 105, 6, 10 pounds. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's impossible. That's impossible. You cannot successfully run down pussy that is just completely limp and incapacitated while you're holding her up and carrying them. It cannot be done. It's impossible. It's not even sex education. It's fucking physics, dude. It's fucking physics. How the fuck is 100 and let's say 10 pounds. Sorry if I offend you. Actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck you. 120 pounds just to be a dick. I'm calling you 120 pounds just to be an asshole. Fuck you, fake victim. So 120-pound woman who is completely and totally incapacitated is gonna like you can't do it. It can't be done. Like, I'm the guy that's like, all right, little help here. Okay. There's no way. There's just no way. It makes no sense. Like, there's no way that particular position was executed without both parties putting in equal amounts of effort. I wouldn't say equal, because, you know, the dude, you got to have some strong legs and also some strong, you know, a strong buttocks. Okay. Because like when you do glute workouts, you got to have strong glutes, because when you do glute workouts, you're thrusting, right? You ever seen those machines? You strap it on and then you like, you know, thrust. That works out your glutes. Okay. So you got to have strong legs, strong glutes to be able to pull off that position, but you need help. You can't just do that with somebody who is, yeah. And I know, Turtle Boy, like I promise I'm not making fun. I'm just trying to make light of this to make it fun. Unfortunately, it makes me mad that the shit's out there. Honestly, this should never even be out there. Like, nobody's privacy should be fucking invaded like that. But it is out there. It's going to be out there. And there are parts of it that's funny, you know, and this is just what I do. But it's not. Yeah. We need ARCA. We need ARCA to explain this. Can we hire Dr. Wolf? I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's impossible that you can't do that particular position. You can't execute that position without some reciprocation from the other party. It can't be done. Like, it's much easier for her to get away than it is to be in that position. And if she wanted to get away, she would have. And she's clearly, these text messages alone prove that she was perfectly okay with it. And she wanted the videos. And then she says, really? Were there people still in the bar? How did no one notice? Oh my God, I'm so mad at myself. You make one of my fantasies come true, and I don't even have a memory of it. Like, listen, just because you blacked out doesn't mean you were raped, bro. I actually... more or less recently, I blacked out. I wouldn't say very recently, but recently enough, I got blackout drunk and had sex with a consenting partner and had no memory of it. I had to be reminded the next time I saw this person, which was the next day, by the way. The next time I saw this person, that that I don't remember. Because I felt bad. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I felt guilty because I was like, fuck. And I was like, what? I was like, how could I possibly have even, how could I even perform? You know what I mean? Like, if I was so drunk that I passed out, how could I even fucking perform? And she was like, no, it was fucking awesome. And I was like, what? And so I felt bad because I was like, for me, it's like, I want to share that with the person that I'm with. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I feel guilty that it was memorable for them, but not memorable for me. But it wasn't, in my defense, I just had way too much to drink. You know, I just had way too much fucking whiskey. And, but I assumed that whiskey dick would have came with that. And I actually, the next day, felt bad because I was like, oh man, this is how the conversation went. I was like, shit, yeah, you came back to my room and we, you know, I feel bad because we didn't, I thought, you know, obviously we were supposed to have sex and I let you down. I'm sorry about that. And she was like, no, like we had sex and it was fucking awesome. What are you talking about? And I was like, what? I was like, huh? So, you know, it does happen. But just because you blacked out does not mean that you were not aware of your surroundings at the time and not aware of what you were capable and not capable of doing what you do. Blackout drunk just means you don't remember, but it doesn't mean that you had no control over your actions. And then, hold on. Did I refuse to give you Roadhead last night? He said, yes, I think that was what set you off, actually. You're kidding me. LOL, only thing I can think of is you were also really mad because woman asked to take a picture with me, I think. That tracks. But it's fine. I don't want to dwell on it. Like, meaning I don't want to end up in a fight. Like, we're talking about it, but like, please, I don't, like, this is Aiden going, fuck, I don't want to set this woman off because she's going to go nuts. And I don't need that shit. I can absolutely tell by his language here that he is like deathly afraid of her fucking getting triggered and hulking out. And instead of turning into a big green monster, she turns into a fucking psycho. And then he says, although I would have liked Roadhead. It'd have been nice. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it'd have been nice. You know? Like, because the way Aiden's looking at it now this is going to be a little bit more, this is going to go a little deeper into, you know, into private waters. And stop it. This is going to go a little deeper into private waters here, but I get it. I get feeling like it would have been nice to get some fucking Roadhead. I sat there in a public bar restaurant and finger blasted you for like 20 minutes and you fucking blew a load all over my fucking hand with people all over the place. So by the time I got in the car, I'm thinking I'm going to get mine. And then you were like, no, fuck you. And then what? Okay, well, shit. All right. It sucks. But, you know, it doesn't go beyond, well, it would have been nice. Because, yeah, you know, like, right, it's pretty standard. It's a standard expectation. I agree. It's a standard. It's not a, well, it's not an unreasonable request. To call it an expectation is a little over the line. I would say it's a reasonable request. And if she says no, you're like, wait, but I just, all right, okay, fine, whatever, you know. But then I'm already thinking about how do I get out of this, because this is not reciprocated evenly. So no, I'm already thinking of breakup scenarios that'll work best. I'm already thinking about this shit. Then she says, I don't think those were the reasons, really. Sounds very uncharacteristic of me to miss out on an opportunity to have your cock in my mouth. That would have been hot. Yeah, sounds like such a victim here. Very uncharacteristic, especially after you got fingered into oblivion. Yes, exactly. I'm sorry, Aiden. Aside from being utterly humiliated at how I acted and treated you, I just realized I could have caused even more problems for you making a scene like that. Easy to understand why I have no one that cares about me. I'm going to do you a favor and disappear from your life. I'm really sorry. Don't be. I'll call you after this meeting. Now, this is manipulation right here. This is 150% manipulation that I have seen myself and experienced myself 100,087 times. Okay? I'm sorry, Aiden. Let's break this down. I'm sorry, Aiden. Aside from being utterly humiliated at how I acted and treated you, I just realized I could have caused even more problems for you by making a scene like that. Easy to understand why I have no one that cares about me. See that? Right away, she goes to playing victim. This is manipulation. I'm going to take phony accountability, faux accountability. I'm going to take faux accountability here, and I'm going to then make you feel sorry for me by saying no one cares about me. I have no one. I'm just going to disappear, and you won't ever have to be burdened with the trouble of me ever again. No, 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 no. I'll call you. Don't do that. I hate seeing people like that. Give me a second. Let me get through this meeting, and I'll call you. That's exactly how that just went. See, I don't fall for that shit. I have no problem with a woman thinking that I am a fucking asshole after this kind of exchange happens. I am absolutely that guy these days where, and I have been for a few years now, where I am just like, well, okay, well, yeah, this is too much. I'm done. I'm out. See ya. And then they're like, no, well, everyone leaves me, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I don't really give a shit that everyone leaves you. It's not my problem. I'm leaving you. But why everybody else does is something you're going to have to fucking figure out on your own. Or, you know, and if you want to sit there and ponder on whether or not I'm leaving, that's up to you. But whether you do or not has no bearing on the fact that I'm fucking leaving. I'm fucking done. That's insanity. And I smell manipulation like that coming a mile away these days. Unreal. Stop it, y'all, with your puns. Finger bang bang. Okay. No, it's the wrong one. Get out of here. Get out of here. On August 10th, 2024, Carney admitted on YouTube that he provided the report to Haley for posting. The unredacted rape report was then posted with malice in a manner designed to humiliate Gattani. Several comments by Broyles and others on those social media posts included language calling Gattani a slam pig who got railed from behind. Oh my God. When describing the video of Gattani being raped, Carney and others cropped screenshots related to Gattani's communications with Carney prior to and following the rape. These actions further tormented Gattani. Now, yeah, I mean, grown-ups, like, grown-ups making those comments, like, it's just weird that you're gonna fucking, you know, like, I before I start making comments like that, I have to know that she likes being called a slam pig. And I bet you $1 billion fucking dollars that under the right circumstances, she loves being called a slam pig. I just know the type. I'm just guessing. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just guessing. I know the type, and the type that I'm aware of and that I have experiences with when I use the words that are similar to slam pig to describe the person that I'm with, it just spices things up. It makes things more exciting. It makes things more fun. They enjoy it. They like it. It's like verbally pulling their hair. You get it? You know what I mean? That's just all that is. That's all that is. On November 12th, 2024, Gattani emailed to Lieutenant Tully reporting further harassment and inquiring about the lack of charges or updates on the assault investigation. There was no response from Tully. That's because he's done. I knew it. I knew it. See what I mean? See what I mean? I knew it. Women who hate themselves love for that shit to be expressed by others during sex. It's a weird thing. Do you ever see those memes on Instagram? Like, where like there's one in particular where you see like Michael Keaton as Batman in Batman Returns, where there's the bat signal reflection in his wall, and he stands up and he's like, the bat signal. And it's like me whenever I see a girl talking about the problems that she's having with her father. When I'm at the bar and I see a woman talking about problems she's having with her dad, you know, like, yeah, that's how that is. Like, you don't marry somebody like that, but with the right amount of alcohol, you're probably looking at a good time. You know, that's all I'm saying. You're looking at a good time, a very temporary one, but it's there. It's very there. And that meme wouldn't be funny if it wasn't true. Just saying. No, yeah. Microdots. Jason Broyles is being sued too by her. She's suing him. And you know what annoys me about that, dude? I'm just going to go ahead and say that shit, dude. He loves this shit. I guarantee you now he's like, yeah, I'm being sued with TURTLEBOY. Blah, 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 blah. Like, and he'll deny that. And he'll say, you know, this is fucking terrible. You think I enjoy being sued? Blah, blah, blah. No. He's going to love this shit. He's going to love this shit. He's loving this shit right now. He thinks that this is going to make him more relevant because of his social media presence. And it's just, it's annoying. It's annoying. I don't give a fuck what he says about it. I'm telling you, I'm just calling it as I see it. I guarantee you he's loving this shit. Guaranteed. Susie Q73, thank you so much. Special request. Can you please play and dedicate this song to TURTLEBOY? It's quite fitting. Trashy Women's Song by Confederate Railroad. No, but you can. But thank you so much. These blogs and other public statements by Broyles contained numerous false statements about Katani, including but not limited to accusations of fraud, false statements about Katani being a fake victim of domestic violence, fabricating or sexual assault allegations, and engaging in criminal and immoral conduct, all of which were made with knowledge of their falsity or reckless disregard for the truth. Broyles' Katani files post induced a massive campaign of public harassment against Katani, with his audience and Carney's followers engaging in online and real-world attacks, including threats, derogatory comments, and public shaming, to the benefit of Carney's efforts to discredit Katani as a victim and witness in her criminal cases. As a direct result of Broyles' actions, Katani suffered severe emotional distress, further reputational damage, loss of credibility in her community, with law enforcement and with the courts, medical expenses, increased therapy costs, pain and suffering, and legal expenses to counteract the harassment. On August 10th, 2024, Carney admitted on YouTube that he provided the report to Haley for posting. The unredacted rape report was then posted with malice in a manner designed to humiliate Katani. Several comments by Broyles and others on those social media posts included language calling Katani a slam pig who got railed from behind. I already read all this. I'm sorry, guys. Following the rape, blah, 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 blah. On November 12, 2024, Katani emailed Lieutenant Tully reporting further harassment, inquiring the lack of charges or updates on the assault investigation. There was no response from Tully. That's because Tully doesn't give a fuck about you. That's why. On November 15th, 2024, Katani emailed Lieutenant Tully again, forwarding screenshots from a woman named Christina Machidi, who also had been a former acquaintance of Carney, showing Carney's messages falsely describing the assault video, claiming Katani was standing and yelling explicit phrases, which was untrue, and threatening Machidi for believing Katani. Sorry. No, Broken Baker. Slutty Slut is not better than Slam Pig. Slam Pig is way better. Like with the right girl. Like a girl like Lindsay Gattani, bro. You call her a slutty slut, she's going to be like, okay, are you going to fucking take me out for a Happy Meal after this? You know what I mean? She's going to be like, you need to be creative with your sexually oriented insults with a woman like Lindsay Gattani, or else she's just going to get bored with you. You got to get creative. You got to get really, really, really degrading, or else she's just going to get bored with you and walk away. On November 15, 2024, Gattani emailed blah, 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 showing Carney's messages falsely describing the assault video, claiming Gattani was standing and yelling explicit phrases, which was untrue, and threatening blah, 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 blah. Machidi has not been heard from since. Carney has similarly harassed others who have defended Gattani. Medfield police informed Gattani that all future reports from Gattani regarding Carney were to be directed to Tully. At that point, Gattani expressed to Tully fear for her safety due to escalating harassment. No response was provided to Tully. On November 27, 2024, Gattani emailed Lieutenant Tully detailing further harassment, including threats from Broyles. Don't make me accelerate. It's not going to be good for you. And a YouTube video, blah, 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 where Carney threatened to sue anyone calling him a rapist, implying Gattani deposed them. No, he meant anybody. Fucking anybody. Depose them and use it against them in criminal cases. Gattani expressed terror and reluctance to testify. No response was provided by Mr. Tully yet again. Gattani, in fact, emailed Tully multiple times between October of 2024 and December of 2024, and no response was ever provided. Gee, I wonder fucking why. On January 7th, 2025, the renewal of the restraining order was denied. I remember that. That night, January 7th, 2025, on YouTube, Carney falsely claimed Gattani legal fundraisers were fraudulent and that she only paid her lawyer $1,500 out of $8,000 charged. In fact, Gattani paid the lawyer in question $6,500 from the $8,000 retainer and was refunded $1,500 for the balance owed to her. Ms. Catani then retained a second lawyer related to a series of Rule 14 and Rule 17 requests from Mr. Carney's lawyers in the context of his ongoing, or his, it should say ongoing, from his going criminal cases in Norfolk Superior Court. This is how I know she wrote this, by the way. Ms. Catani is the named victim in 2 of these open felony cases and named witnesses, other interested party in 10 of Carney's other open felony indictments. I love when people think they're fucking lawyers, dude. This is so reminiscent to my ex's filing when I beat her for custody. Because, by the way, that's the only time I ever beat her, was in court for custody of my kid, just for the record. That was the only time I ever beat a woman, was when I beat her for custody. That's it. So this is reminiscent of that, because she couldn't get a lawyer. And she thought herself as a lawyer, always acted like she was a lawyer. She actually deluded herself into thinking that she was a lawyer. And I was like, you don't have a law degree. And she's like, I might as well. And I was like, you're insane. So this is very reminiscent of one of her filings, one of her many insane filings during that case. Carney's false statements about Catani's legal fees and fundraising were published to a wide audience on YouTube, via YouTube, a platform with thousands of viewers, and were intended to impugn Catani's integrity, accuse her of fraud, and further damage to her reputation. These statements were made with actual malice, as Carney knew or recklessly disregarded the truth. E.g., Catani's documented payments to her attorneys. As a direct result of these additional defamatory statements, Catani has suffered further reputational harm. All he got was a number wrong. That's it. Like, it's not like he lied. He just got a number wrong. As a direct result of these additional defamatory statements, Catani has suffered further reputational harm, e.g. accusations of fraud affecting her community standing and credibility as a victim. You're not a victim, though. Emotional distress, medical expenses, additional therapy sessions, pain and suffering, and legal expenses to counter false claims. On January 2025, Carney filed this lawsuit. Dude, the other thing about those texts, man, like, this is the thing you got to understand. The thing you got to understand about those texts is those texts prove that she's not a victim in so many different ways. You know what I mean? Like, they just do. But these texts kind of reinforce my sympathy for Aiden, because I've talked about this. I talked about this a little when I was going over one of the hearings where she was testifying. And like, when you read those texts, dudes fantasize about a girl who, and I made this point before, by the way, but those text messages prove it. Those texts, like, dudes fantasize about a girl that'll talk to him like that, man. Like, we live in an age of porn. All single guys watch porn, and then it just kind of becomes a fantasy, you know, to have a girl who's that uninhibited, who's that insatiable. It's a nice thing to have, and it's also a confidence booster, you know, and it's challenging, because a woman like that, you're like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm not one of these fucking lame dudes who can't fucking, you know, like, it's a confidence thing for yourself. It's like, you want to be able to say, I could fucking knock this bitch. I can knock the fucking spirit out of this bitch with my dick. And then she is rejuvenated with spirit from the afterglow. That's the idea, right? That's the idea. You want that shit. You like that shit. Every man, any man who says they don't like a woman talking to them like that or fantasize about a woman talking to them like that is a fucking liar, or they're gay. But I'm telling you right now, like, that's the kind of shit where it's like you got lightning in a bottle and you fucking lie to yourself and you're like, she's a little crazy, but is she so crazy that it's worth giving that up? You know what I mean? You just you just kind of you rationalize and you justify the shit, and you just like you kind of almost tell yourself, dude, suck it up, dude. Like, suck it up. She's not that fucking crazy. I mean, I get it. She's crazy, but I can handle it. If I can handle her in bed, I can handle her crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of do that to yourself. Like, you don't even realize you're doing it, but you do it. It's just how men are. It's how we are. Because it's hard. I'm not even trying to lie. It's hard to find a woman who can keep up with me sexually. I'm not bragging. I'm saying that I have that kind of drive. You know, I love sex that much, but I love it being reciprocated evenly between me and that person. I love the exchange. I love the energy. I love that shit. You know, that's what I like. I like that deep, intimate connection with someone else. You know, I really enjoy that. So it's hard. It's a difficult thing to give up, man. It's a difficult thing to give up when you have found that. But the problem is guys can be like that and not be fucking crazy. You know what I mean? The chances of finding a girl like that who isn't fucking crazy is so fucking slim. It's so slim. It's so like rare. It's like a girl who likes to be with couples. The term is a unicorn. You call her a unicorn. The reason why you call her a unicorn is because that kind of girl is so fucking rare. Because all girls want to be number one. Generally, women, they want to be number one. They want to be the complete center of that man's attention. They want to be that man's world. No, you're not going to gaslight me, crazy lady. You're going to sit here with a fucking handle called crazy lady, and then you're going to fucking gaslight me and call me warped because I have fucking natural fucking desires? Fuck out of here. You're nuts. You're the fucking crazy one. Sitting here, call yourself, I'm crazy lady. Will, you're crazy because you like sex. No, you're fucking crazy. Shut the fuck up. Take that shit somewhere else. You're out of your mind. Anyway. It's toxic to be like what? It's toxic to have a healthy, explorative sexual relationship with somebody. That's toxic. It's toxic if somebody is manipulating the other into that. That's absolutely toxic. That's shitty. That's absolutely toxic. To manipulate someone, to guilt them into it or whatever. Find somebody who matches your desires. Find somebody who matches your sexual energy. If that person doesn't match it, you're doing yourself a disservice and fucking fuck off. Just find somebody else. But it's only toxic if both parties are not reciprocating the same desires and the same energy. That's the only time it's toxic. And that's a slippery slope because it's a hard thing to get. But when you realize that that's not happening, you got to be man enough to fuck off. You know, you got to be man enough to just be like, dude, I no, you know, this is just not working, you know, and you might break somebody's heart, you know, but it's okay for sex to be that important to you. I don't give a fuck what anybody here says. It's okay for sex to be that important to you in a relationship. It is absolutely okay for that. And to have those standards. But if you lower your own standards, you're doing both of you a disservice. I don't want you lowering your standards for me. I want to be the peak of your standards. I want the person that I'm with to be the peak of my standards. You know, like it's not an unnatural and it's not an unethical thing to have an understanding with your partner as to, and that's how you build trust, because you're never going to have a fun sexual relationship unless there's trust reciprocated. And that's part of the intimacy. That's really fun. You know, when you actually have that exchange of trust and you reach that level in your relationship, anything can go. It's great. It's fun. But it's a really, really, really rare thing to get. It's a really rare thing to get. But the problem with a lot of women, when men have these fantasies and men have these desires, a lot of times the women who come along in these who have these same desires usually have real fucked up issues. Generally. And I'm not trying to be sexist here. I'm being honest, because men are just they're just more sexual generally than women are. They're just more you know, they have that natural need to fucking, you know, drop their seed every fucking where. Look at that. I couldn't have said that better myself. A dirty sex talker is different than a dirty sex stalker. Very well put. 007, Texas. Very different. It's very, very different. And as long as both parties are consenting, and as long as both parties have the same intentions and desires, how could that possibly be toxic? How could that possibly be toxic? Now, here she goes on to say, at undated points, Carney falsely told a Boston Magazine reporter accompanying him to Medfield police. Hold on. Did I miss a couple of super chats? I feel bad. Hold on. There was another one here, and I'll get to that one. Oh my God, Madeline Wags. What is my astrological sign? Does it matter? Does it matter what somebody's astrological sign really is? Because it's kind of fucked up. Think about this. I'm going to go a little bit off subject here. I'm not going to answer. Go fuck yourselves. But I am going to say this. I think it's fucked up. Like women who discriminate by somebody's sign and they go, oh my God, you're a Sagittarius. Oh, we're not compatible. Like you haven't even gotten to know me yet. Like, what do you mean? It's almost like romantic racism almost, except it's not racist. It's just like, you know, you're fucking prejudging somebody and you're dismissing them and you're judging them based on what their birthday was. That's the most craziest shit in the world. You know how fucking crazy you sound? Do you fucking know how crazy you sound? Women who are like, what's your sign? Oh man. Yeah, it would have worked out, but if you had just been born 1 month later, you know how fucking crazy you sound? Like as soon as I hear that, I'm just like, thank you. Oh man, I almost bought you a drink. Fuck. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. So yeah, I'm not answering that. That's a weird thing. I don't entertain zodiac bullshit. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Lisa, Massachusetts, thank you. I agree. It's so important. Married for 23 years because of our bedroom life. No couple swap. I am a Scorpio. I don't give a fuck that you're a Scorpio, but I love the fact that you are saying married for 23 years because of bedroom life. This is, dude, you cannot have a healthy marriage without a healthy sex life. It can't be done. Now, you might just be Catholic and be like, we don't ever get divorced, blah, 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 blah. But I bet you anything, your Catholic husband is 99% chance he's got a guma. 99% chance. If you're like, we don't know, the promise in front of God and we just never get divorced, but I hate the son of a bitch, then okay, but you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. To stay with somebody, in my opinion, it's insane to stay with somebody when you're unhappy. It's insane. Yeah, there you go. Gattani illegally recorded him without consent, leading to his bogus wiretapping complaint. Carney repeated this lie in blogs and YouTube, complaining she hid cameras and shared videos. Untrue. Gattani repeatedly contacted police about the assault investigation, providing witnesses' names. Police confirmed it was active as late as January 2025, but refused her formal request for the report due to the open investigation. On one visit with Gattani's friend Grant Ellis, Grant, she's not going to fuck you, dude. And let me explain why Grant, and I'm talking to Grant directly. If he's listening, I like you, buddy. I really do. I like Grant. Again, I don't hold anything against Grant. I think Grant is just a product of Wendy Murphy. I don't find that to be his fault. No, I think he's responsible absolutely for his own actions. He's an adult, and he's absolutely responsible and accountable for his own actions. But I don't blame him for how he is what I'm saying, because he is a product of being Wendy Murphy's son. But here, Grant, listen, she's not going to fuck you. Like, I can tell that you're not, dude. I mean, no woman who loves to be talked to the way that she wants, the way that she talks to Aiden in these text messages, no woman like this is going for dude who's chewing on his hand in front of a courthouse. That's not hot to her. You're not going to know what to say to this poor girl. You're not going to have poor girl nothing. Sorry. You're not going to know what to say to this woman. You're the poor guy in all this. Poor Grant is not going to know what to say to Lindsay Gattani. He's not going to know what to do. He's not even going to know what it takes to get her to take her top off. He's not going to have any idea. Grant, you're not going to have any idea. You're not built for a Gattani ride. Like you're not ready for Gattani torque. Okay. You're not ready for that. Gattani torque is going to throw you right off. That's it. You're going to jump on and it's going to throw you right off. The Gattani torque is too much for Grant Smith Ellis. It can't be done. You're never going to be able to handle that woman. You're never going to be able to handle her. So don't do this to yourself anymore. You got to stop doing this to yourself, Grant. I like you, dude. I do. You got to stop doing that to yourself. And I feel like, if not, Lindsay, why not just throw him a little hoochie coochie? You know what I mean? Like, look at what he's doing for you. He's writing motions for you and shit. You know, like he's your friend, his shoulder to cry on and shit. you know, just throw him a little something, something. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you'd be degrading yourself. You would be doing a service. You would be performing a service that's actually kind of noble, at least more noble than anything anybody has seen you do so far. It would be the most noble gesture that you have performed in since your name has become public. Promise you that. Probably the most noble thing that you've ever done in your life would be to throw Grant a little something, something. Just, you know, just like really spoil him too. You know what I mean? Like roll him a blunt, you know, that only he's going to smoke. Get it ready. Look him in the eyes as you're doing it. Start driving him crazy. Make sure you drive him crazy. It'll only last a minute. I promise. It'll only last a minute. Like, what's a minute? You know what I mean? You've degraded yourself way worse than this. You know, you've degraded yourself way worse than this. Clearly. Just, you know, just give him a little tease, massage his back, you know, get him to the point to where he's just like ready to explode. And then, you know, let him explode. It'll only take a minute. He's not going to be able to handle it. You know, like it'll be the one noble thing that you've done. Like, do something right for once. Do something kind for somebody for once. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come off to me kind of like a hooker who doesn't charge money. You know what I mean? Like, so what's one more free customer? What's one more free customer? I don't see the problem. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you are these things. I'm saying you come off to me like this. This is the impression that I'm getting. This is the impression that I'm getting. You know, like he's not going to call you a slam pig like you want him to. He's not going to do these things. He's, you know, you'll be doing him a favor, but you know, Grant's not all bad. He's at least been a friend to you when nobody else was. You know, I'm surely you can come up with some kind of arrangement. Maybe you could even marry the guy and then he could just be a cuck. And then, you know, you have an arrangement where you get to go do whatever the fuck you want. You just got to throw it his way like once a month. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even something that goes as far as like once every 6 months. You know? I don't feel like this is an unreasonable suggestion. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel like it's an unreasonable suggestion. Grant's a nice kid, man. He's a nice guy. You know? Or at least just let him, right, Sleuthy, just let him watch. At least let him set up camp next time you got some sucker that you're planning on throwing in jail. Let him watch. You know? What's the problem? Lena Lou, thank you so much. Women like fake victim that lie makes it harder to get real rapists convicted. Shame on her. God bless you, Will. Sending love from the UK. And that's actually the most important point out of all of this. Like, she's doubling down here. This is what makes me not feel guilty about saying the things that I'm saying about her, because they are absolutely justified and they are merited. They are merited because this is someone who is using a horrible, horrible thing to try to destroy someone. And it's making it harder for real victims to have credibility. This is why Amber Heard is such a piece of shit. This is why the whole world hates Amber Heard right now. So do something noble for once. Do something good. Throw Grant a little something, something, man. You know? Grant, I'm trying to help you out, dude. I feel like this is not unreasonable, dude. I feel like you can negotiate terms, bro. You know? Like, just be, you know, and whatever you get out of it is fair. Anything you get out of this exchange with her that you negotiate is going to be fair. Even if it's like once a year, even if it's just like a handy once in a while, what the fuck ever. Anything you get is going to be better than what you're getting right now, because right now she's just using you as somebody who's going to take her side because she's taking advantage of the fact that you hate Turtle Boy as much as she does. It's not unreasonable, dude. Just ask, negotiate, you know? And if she says, fuck it, leave me alone, it's not going to happen, fuck off, then just fuck off. But my advice to you is to no longer, like, continue putting energy into this, because it's just making you look like a cuck who doesn't even get to cuck. Like, how are you the cuck that doesn't get to cuck? You know what I'm saying? That's a horrible, horrible position to be in, my friend. You know? That's a horrible position to be in, Grant. Like, you're a cuck who doesn't even get to cuck. It's horrible, dude. I feel really bad for you, bro. Like, I hope she, like, you know what would be cool, man? If you both, like, found God, you know, like, go into a Pentecostal church and then you guys both get anointed in the Holy Spirit, get saved, accept Jesus Christ as your personal savior, and then she will be attracted to your heart. Okay? That's what'll happen. And then you guys could live a nice Christian lifestyle where you're not fucking people over, not telling lies about people, not destroying people's lives, but enriching each other's. Like, Christianity is not for everybody. Traditional Christianity is not necessarily for me. But it seems like it would be the thing that would bring the two of you together, and maybe, you know, like, that's what I feel like. I feel like you guys should both just roll up into a fucking Pentecostal Baptist church and be like, I accept Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior. I admit that I am a sinner. Blah, 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 blah. Start speaking in tongues. Go home. Peck each other on the lips. No tongue. It's not Christian-like. And just have vanilla-ass sex. You know? All the time. Get married first. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? I feel like it'll benefit the both of you. It'll benefit the rest of us. Tell you that. It'll benefit everybody else if y'all went off and found Jesus. Because I never seen two people that needed Jesus more than two of you. Maybe Kate Peter. Y'all need some fucking Jesus for real. Medfield police discussed the case on another occasion. Okay, wait. One visit with Katani's friend Grant Ellis, who was permitted to attend as emotional support. Come on, man, Grant, dude. Medfield police discussed the case on another occasion. The Medfield police cited insufficient prongs for date rape charges based on a 15-minute video clip of Carney sexually assaulting Gatani. Okay, Grant totally wrote this. Grant totally wrote this. You know how I know? Because he just threw his name in there for no reason. It is completely irrelevant to the point that's being made here. On one visit with Gatani's friend Grant Ellis, who is permitted to attend as emotional support, Medfield police discussed the case on another occasion. The Medfield police cited insufficient prongs for date. Grant's a service animal. Yes. Grant's basically a service animal for Gatani. That's basically what this is. And apparently he writes motions for her too. Insane fucking ramblings of motions. This reads like a Grant Smith Ellis article. date rape charges based on a 15-minute video clip of Carney sexually assaulting Gitani. Detective Haldeman later refused additional evidence, e.g. babysitter screenshot, witness names, and blamed the DA for improperly releasing the unredacted report to Carney. Then in 2025, Medfield police yet again changed course and informed Ms. Gitani that the rape investigation was still open. The status of that rape investigation, to Ms. Gitani's best knowledge and belief, is still open as of the date of the filing, September 4th, 2025. As of January 13th, 2025, Ms. Gitani received a voicemail from Medfield Police Detective Dylan Haldeman, wherein Haldeman reached out for the purpose of obtaining more information from Gitani about the night of the sexual assault. And let's see. Charlie Lynn, thank you so much. Off topic, but I have a ticket to the Wilbur TV show and can't go because I work. Want to do a giveaway? I mean, I'm not going to do a giveaway, but, you know, like, if I were you, if you have social media, like, say, in a group or something, you know, like, if you're in a Facebook group or something like that, like, just get somebody to contact you and claim the ticket, you know? But I'm not going to do a giveaway. I don't even know how to fucking do that. But yeah, you should like, yeah, you should post, like, if you're on Twitter or something, like, get somebody to, you know, just yeah, let people know you have an extra ticket. It shouldn't be that hard to get rid of. Not in this community. Gitani only went public to counter Carney's lies about her as a fake victim after she disclosed the allegation and spread the report out of context, cropped text, and contained sexually explicit messages. Hold on a second. So she's saying that they're telling her that the rape investigation is still open. That's weird. All right, so Gitani only went public to counter Carney's lies about her as a fake victim after he disclosed an allegation and spread the report out of context, cropped text that contained sexually explicit messages. Carney's actions, including the assault threats, public disclosures, false accusations, and harassment campaign, were intentional, extreme, and outrageous, causing Gitani severe emotional distress, fear for her safety, and harm to her reputation and privacy. All false statements by Carney were made with actual malice, knowing their falsity, and with reckless disregard for the truth. The sexual assault investigation, based on Gitani's reports to law enforcement, remains active to this day, confirmed by Medfield Police as recently as January 2025. Gitani was denied a copy of her own report due to the open investigation and privacy concerns. That's bullshit. So you're telling me that these guys who are actively trying to railroad Aiden, Dr. Turtleboy Carney, are going to give him a copy out of malice, right? They're going to give Aiden a copy of this report, unredacted, and he's going to give it to Jason Broyles and be like, ooh, I'm not supposed to have this, but go ahead and post it. Like, I don't buy that shit for a second. And then they're going to refuse to give her a copy of the police report. And then he says, and then Turtleboy here is saying, they didn't tell her it was open. They probably just told her if she has new information to bring it in. They've never contacted me about this. Right. Like, basically, like, if that's all you got, we ain't doing shit with it. We're watching a video where it's clearly consensual. And unless you've got another incident and feel like we could prove it, then okay. But yeah, I mean, There's no, right. Without any new information, as of the information, I'm getting the impression that as of the information that they have now, they don't think that there was a rape. Or right, another angle. Right. Do you have another camera pointing in another direction? If someone whispers, fuck me, daddy, in a video, they're not being raped. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. They're not being raped. Not being raped. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Under blah, 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 reports of rape and sexual assault are confidential and not public records. They must be maintained in a manner assuring confidentiality. Additional state statutes, including blah, 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 confidentially a victim counselor communications and federal privacy protections impose duties on law enforcement and prosecutors to protect victim information. Despite the active investigation and confidentiality requirements, Special Prosecutor Cosgrove, specially appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove, improperly released Catani's unredacted sexual assault report to Carney and or his attorneys as part of discovery in an ongoing criminal proceeding against Carney. Okay. That adds up now. Okay, now I'm seeing the light. Okay, it's not that the cops were like, it's not that it was public record. And it's not that, well, public record in the sense that a police filing, blah, 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 and then it's just there, and then you go and look it up and you FOIA it or whatever. That's not what this was. It was that special appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove had to share the report as discovery. Rule 14 had to share this report with Carney and his defense team. That's what that is. And unless there is an order impounding that, unless there is an order making that it cannot be released publicly, then it's public. It's been filed in the court system. It is filed in the court system. It is done. It is what it is. So Robert Cosgrove didn't improperly share this. He did exactly what he's supposed to do that fall under Aiden Carney's, I guess is it Fourth Amendment rights or Sixth Amendment? I forget. I don't know. But one of those things, I want to say sixth. Is it sixth? Either the fourth or sixth. But he has the right to any evidence that could be exculpatory. So he didn't. I got you, MC Kasi G. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, it's his. It's his to do what he wants with it unless the judge impounds it, unless the judge orders for that to be private and can't be shared. Detective Haldeman informed Gattani that the release was a screw-up by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, acknowledging it should not have occurred without redactions. Now, if that's the case, that's on Cosgrove, and that is on Haldeman. Period. But that's on Cosgrove. Involved in investigation, including interviews and evidence collection and communications about the report's status, yet failed to prevent or mitigate the proper disclosure. Lieutenant Tully was directly involved in Gattani's initial report on December 14th, 2023, the subpoena service on December 22nd, 2023, and subsequent grand jury proceedings. Tully ignored Gattani's multiple emails November 12th, 15th, and 27th, 2024, reporting harassment, threats, and requests for updates on the assault investigation, breaching duties to protect the victim and maintain confidentiality. Multiple further emails were sent by Katani to Tully after November 27th, 2024. Tully's inaction contributed to the ongoing harm and allowed leaks. The counter defendant's actions, releasing the unredacted report and failing to safeguard confidentiality, enabled Carney to publicly disclose and mischaracterize the report. Via Haley on August 8th, 2024, causing Katani severe harm. These acts were negligent, reckless, or intentional, violating statutory duties and privacy rights. Okay, so I'm having a thought here. I'm having a thought. How fucking awesome would it be if she wins the lawsuit against Tully? Because I kind of want that to happen. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want her to win at anything. But how fucking beautiful would it be that she gets sued by fake victim and she has grounds to sue Tully and wins? How fucking beautiful will it be to disgrace the fuck out of Brian Tully to the level that he is being sued and loses to fake victim? I would fucking no salt needed. Oh shit. This is really good. Yeah, she's suing him. Yeah, microdots. Think about that. She just takes a big old bite of that fucking. Think about that. I that's how I would take that. Like it's a big old piece of fucking deliciously, perfectly fried chicken, bro. And I go, oh shit. Yeah. That's how that would taste to me. Totally being sued by fake victim and losing. Like, I swear to God, I'm not even trying to lie. I hope that she has a case against Tully and Medfield or whatever the fuck his name is. I hope she has a case against those two guys, and Aiden just skates. He just fucking skates. I love that shit. I love it. Fuck Tully. It needs more cowbell. Wild, right? I know. I'm hungry too. I got some chicken, like some chicken breast marinating right now, man. I'm gonna end this soon because I'm only at like page 19. There's 90 fucking pages of this. I'm only at page 20, but I got to remember that where I'm at here. Endured pain and suffering, anxiety, depression, PTSD, and incurred. Jesus Christ, shut up. On October 15, 2023, the day after the sexual assault on October 14, 2023, Carney sent Gattani a video recording of the non-consensual sexual intercourse from the previous night, which he had recorded without her knowledge or consent at the time. This dissemination was without Gattani's permission and caused her shock, humiliation, and fear, which is why, which we saw in those text messages proving that that's not the case. Exasperating the trauma of the assault. The video was sent during the conversation in which Carney sent Gattani text messages confirming that Carney knew Gattani was too drunk to have sex on the night of October 14th, 2023. In further text messages, Carney described the sexual acts he committed against Gattani during the video in question. Between October and December 2023, after Gattani attempted to end her relationship with Carney, Carney sent Gattani a video of himself threatening to commit suicide by throwing himself into traffic because Gattani would not answer Carney's text messages or phone calls. This act was intended to manipulate and coerce Gattani into maintaining contact, causing her severe and emotional distress and guilt. Shut the fuck up. Carney's acts of sending Gitani the non-consensual recording and the suicide threat video were part of a pattern of coercive control, harassment, and emotional manipulation, violating Gitani's privacy and exasperating her harms. As a direct result of, now this is so stupid. This is just like trying. Yeah, I mean, right. I totally get that. Like, you've got somebody here, and I can relate. I can personally relate because you've got somebody here who admittedly struggles with depression, admittedly struggles with anxiety. He is engaged in a relation. He's going through a divorce, engaged in a relationship with a completely insane person who is fucked up. And then now she's manipulating him with a fake baby. Hashtag Clay Strong. Manipulating him with a fake baby, with a fake pregnancy. And I get it, man. Like, you get fucking like overwhelmed and you don't know what to fucking do. Right. Yeah. She knew I was arrested, facing all these decades in prison, and she decided to drop the fake baby on my lap to fuck with me. Right. I mean, there's that on top of the other things that I just named. Facing decades in prison for just doing his fucking job. And I mean, how do you fucking handle that shit? How do you handle that shit? When you're so fucking overwhelmed, you don't know how to fucking handle these things. You know? Like, that's the emotional harm. Right. That is the emotional harm. Exactly. And I don't know if it's Andrea. I don't know. But Turtle Boy, you were right about Andrea Burkhart is how you say her name, not Andrea. I got it wrong. She confirmed it on Twitter today. She just didn't correct me, but it's Andrea. Right. That is its own sentence, dude. That is its own sentence. Microdots. Andrea. Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Jason Broyles using the alias Haley, blah, 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 X handle at first and then via the X handle, blah, 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 blah. Look at all these different fucking, acted as a proxy for Carney by posting defamatory and privacy invading content about Gitani on various dates and times during the year 2024. On August 8th, 2024, Broyles posted Gitani Files Part 3, including an unredacted confidential police report of Gitani's sexual assault allegation. Broyles' blog post contained lies about Gitani, mischaracterized the events, and falsely claimed police concluded no rape occurred. Carney admitted on YouTube on August 10th, 2024, that he provided the report to Broyles for posting. All right, so this is page 21. I'm gonna leave that there because we're approaching 4 hours here, folks. I normally go 3 to 12 yesterday, and I'm really hungry, and I'm really hoping to make my chicken and rice very, very soon. So just looking over chat a little bit here, see what you guys are saying. Oh, thanks, Microdots. I know, and you just got here, but I'm tired, man, and I'm hungry. And I gotta work on. I really should put some time into what's going on at the Wilbur, man. We got a great show. Like I said this morning, I was talking to Jimmy. I got this idea, and I called Jimmy, and we were fucking belly laughing over that shit. It's not even that much. Like, we're talking about maybe 30 seconds worth of material here that's going to happen. But It's funny. We're really excited about it. And listen, man, I realized that there was a lot of discussion here that's not for the faint of heart. But I'm here to tell you, man, this channel is not for the faint of heart. I realize that I've gained a lot more subscribers, a lot of new subscribers since yesterday. And I'm really grateful that you subscribed. I'm glad that you enjoyed all the content, but understand something about me. I'm not your traditional true crime YouTuber. I kind of have my own way of doing things, and nobody is going to tell me to change how I do things. So I don't censor myself. I don't placate or I don't patronize my audience. I just don't do those things. So no, I know why you were here. I get it, Janine, but oh my God, Wallflower gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. God, you have been amazing. Thank you. So, well, I'm not going to change. I'm just giving a disclaimer to the new subscribers that, you know, and I understand if it's not for you, but I don't play by the traditional YouTuber rules. I don't say R instead of rape, and I don't say SA instead of rape, and I don't say unalive instead of murder or killed. I just use these fucking words because you're all fucking grown-ups, and I feel stupid doing that. And I don't give a shit enough about ad revenue to fucking correct it and to sit there and censor myself. I don't like censorship, and I'm damn sure not going to be sitting here advocating for free speech and censor myself. Not going to fucking do that, because that's something that is compromising my own self-respect and my own principles. So, and not to fucking fault anybody else, you know, who does this. I mean, you guys, if you like your ad revenue, there's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with being out here making money, man. I ain't faulting nobody. I manage where I like my money to come from and how I like to make my money. That's it. But I don't censor myself, and I don't patronize my audience, and this channel's not for everybody. So, but one thing I can promise you is you will always get honesty from me, and you'll always get genuine passion from me, and you know, depending on what you're into, you'll get a good laugh from time to time too. So that's all I'm offering. That's what happens when you take the red pill. That's it. So I am grateful to all you guys. Again, I'm still spinning at how fucking amazing you guys are, raising over $21,000 for Aiden. And hanging with me all that time yesterday. That really means a lot to me. It really does. And I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me today. And I'm going to try to find some time to go live tomorrow too. But nevertheless, if you have Wilbur tickets, I will see you Friday. So you guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are great. And if you subscribed from this stream, thank you. Appreciate it. I hope that if you are not subscribed and you're enjoying the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live, because I kind of go live on the fly like I did today. I usually try to give about an hour's notice if I can, at least. Make sure to hit the like. That really helps me out, and it's free. And speaking of which, all the support that I've gotten, I really appreciate it. And somebody, let me see here. Elizabeth gave me $10 through Venmo. Thank you so much. Hi, Will. I'm a little new here, but I couldn't stop laughing about your Zodiac rant. I'm in my 20s, and man, recently, ooh, look at me getting a younger audience. And a man recently asked me, a man asked her, hold on. Oh, why can't I read this whole thing? Hold on. Maybe in the email. A man recently asked me what my zodiac sign was 15 minutes into a convo. He was 7 years older than me too. Long story short, he got ghosted. Right, exactly. Listen, folks. Fucking moth. Get out of here, moth. Listen, guys. Don't ever ask a woman what her zodiac sign is. That's such a woman thing to do. Like, you're basically telling her that you don't have a dick, and if you do, you don't even know it's there. And if you do know it's there, you don't know how to use it. So heed my advice. Don't ever bring up zodiac signs to a woman, and avoid the subject at all costs when she asks you. She may act like she wants to know, but she really doesn't want to know. She wants you to be like, that's stupid. I promise. Anyway, I love you guys very much. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Yeah, man, you guys are dope. We will do this again very soon, my friends. I know this is really awkward because I'm trying to find this. This is an awkward goodbye. Like, just fucking go, man. What are you doing, bro? But why can't I find this blah 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 here? This is really annoying. Okay. Anyways, all right, guys, I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.
Watch out!
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school just like their neighbors and come back to a real home, a supervised home, right in the neighborhood where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.